Welcome on into Spillane Field. My name is Enrique DeMore. To my right today is J.D. Rachi. We're bringing you Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network today against the Cotuit Kettleers. Second half of a home-and-home between these two teams yesterday. 2-2 tie, first of the year for the Gatemen at Lowell Park. Tough one for the offense, great day for the pitching staff, but Cotuit managed to claw back. We faced a 2-1 deficit in the 9th inning and get the run home to tie it in the 10th inning. Ran out of daylight there at Lowell Park. But Gatemen trying to bounce back from this one. I'm not sure who needs a win more. I think it might be the Kettleers just because they are in last place. Gatemen pretty comfortably in first by 3 points over Hyannis, but the Gatemen need a win in the win column, but also I think a moral victory as far as just the offense that'll have to back up Will Proctor today.
Yeah, I think that the offense was really not exactly what we're used to seeing from the Gatemen yesterday. We've become accustomed to, especially in the early part of the season, the fact that this Gatemen offense is going to score a lot of runs and they are going to beat you into the ground and just do it until they are unrelenting. 13 runs against Bourne comes to mind. 17 runs against Hyannis comes to mind. 9 runs against Chatham just 2 nights ago comes to mind. And last night it just wasn't there. The hits were there. They had 6 hits on the day, which isn't great, but it's a passable amount. But they only drove in 2 runs. Isaac Collins reached 3 times. He only scored once. Ryan Kreidler reached once but scored once. And there was a lot of guys left on base. 8 guys left on base for the Gatemen yesterday. And when you only have 6 hits and you leave 8 guys on, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's not great. We've seen, like you said, JD, the Gatemen can score in bunches. Clearly, they've got the best run differential in the Cape by a long margin. They got a lot. They rank highly in a lot of offensive categories. Really has been a good day or a good year on the whole offensively for the Gatemen, but the consistency just hasn't been there in the way that they would like it. However, right now it is the defense, and the starter today, Will Proctor, who has been one of the more low-key dominant guys in this Gatemen rotation. Proctor out of Georgia, entering his start today, is one of the, like I said, better Gatemen pitchers. He gets Peyton Burdick to pop out in a shallow right field. Now officially, that's Zahid Valenzuela comes back and makes the grab. F4 for those of you keeping score at home. 1 pitch, 1 out. First pitch at 6:30 on the nose today from Spillane Field. And Peyton Burdick, one of those guys who he was all the rage when the season started. He, on opening day in a win for Cotuit, went 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. I mean, he had an absolutely phenomenal day. Since then has bottomed out hard, batting just a .188 on the year. And now Will Robertson steps up to the plate. Robertson takes ball 1 just low and outside. Steve Durant's doing the calling of balls and strikes behind home plate. At first base, Dan Boomhauer, and at third base, Jim Isham. Now the 1-0, that one sent into center field. Back goes Skylar Hunter. He's going to park. No, he's going to keep on going. He thought about stopping there, but he hit it over his head. Will Robertson around second. He's going to hesitate and will hold up there, in there with a stand-up double. With 1 out is Will Robertson. Cotuit with a man in scoring position early.
A couple of weird things happening on that play for the Gatemen. Number 1, Will Proctor's not a guy that's going to give up a lot of extra base hits. Number 2, we're so used to seeing Skylar Hunter backtrack and make fantastic plays. And that time he just kind of lost it in the sun. That was a really well-hit ball by Will Robertson. He's in there with a stand-up double, so a bit of an uncharacteristic play there for the Gatemen. But moving forward now, they've just got to worry about the next batter because Thomas Dillard is a dangerous hitter.
Dillard is traditionally a power guy, batting 253 on the year. That one in the dirt. Over to his right is today's catcher, Drew Millis. Defensive alignment for the Gatemen. In left field, Jeremy Idens. In center field, Skylar Hunter. In right field, Isaac Collins. Left to right in the infield, Pavin Parks, Ryan Kreidler, Zahid Valenzuela, and Cade Cavalli. Yes, the starter. Now attempting a move over there. Kreidler keeping Robertson honest at second. Dillard with 12 RBIs on the year to go with that 253 batting average. Been hitting respectably out of that 3 spot. That one upstairs, though, 2-1. Missed with a breaking ball and missed with the fastball. But we mentioned on the Gatemen Pregame Show how Proctor, I mean, his deadliest pitch has been his breaking ball. He's not a power arm, not a strikeout guy. He uses that breaking ball not as an out pitch, but as a weak contact pitch to get ground balls. But Proctor has been steady as they come for this Gatemen rotation. This time is called by Dillard. Now he kicks and deals the 2-0. Got him at the letters, 2-1. Waiting on deck, Brady Smith, a guy who hit much lower in the lineup, actually in the 6-hole, to be exact. Yesterday anyway, but after delivering the clutch game-tying single, has moved up to the 4 spot. Smith with a 2-for-4 day yesterday, batting .471 in his limited time at the Cape. Out of Florida, he has registered a base hit in every game this year except for one, and even in that one, he managed to walk, so he's reached base in every game. Freshman out of Florida. But right now, up to the plate, it is Thomas Dillard. He'll step out, slow going here early on at Spillane. Beautiful clear day for baseball. The breeze blowing ever so slightly from right field to left field. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, set up outside, got exactly what he wanted, 2-2.
Great pitch there from Will Proctor. Soft stuff away, that's his bread and butter. Fastball is going to really be what determines what kind of start this is for Proctor, but if he can get that pitch over, he might not even have to turn to the fastball.
So we'll see what he goes with here on 2-2. Millis setting up low and in. The pitch. Went with the breaking ball again, he got him on strikes. That one dove about 1.5 feet. Dillard swung right through it, no chance on that one. First K of the day for Proctor, brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 2 away, but Will Robertson still on second for the hot-hitting Brady Smith.
That's the kind of pitch you're looking for out of Proctor. Might have been the changeup there as it dove into the right-handed batter. Could have also been the breaking ball. So things have just looked really good for Proctor. Aside from the at-bat from Will Robertson, he has been lights out in the 2 other batters he's faced.
Now into the dirt, it bounces off Millis, rolls up the third base line. He thought about it, but thought the better of it, and just allowed Robertson to take that one on the wild pitch. So he's over at third, but with 2 away, getting him in, not an easy task. Gonna need a bona fide base hit here from Smith, but like we mentioned, has hit safely in every game but one this year on the Cape. Righty versus lefty, the 1-0. That one hammered into deep left field. Iden's giving chase. He reaches up. He's not going to get it. That one will bounce all the way to the wall in to score easily as Will Robertson. And trotting into second with a stand-up double is Brady Smith. He continues his tear, and the Cotuit Kettleers jump out to a 1-0 lead in the first.
Pitch just got a little bit too much of the plate there for Will Proctor. And Brady Smith's a good hitter. He showed it yesterday. Getting the second look at it now. He just left a fastball right over the heart of the plate. He drills it into left field, and that's one of those plays that's one of those pitches I was talking about. The fastball is going to determine how good of a game this is and how good of an appearance this is for Will Proctor, because when you leave fastballs up to good hitters, they are going to mash them. They are going to mash them for extra bases, and Brady Smith just did it right there, and it's 1-0 Cotuit.
Now here comes Ryan Reynolds out of Texas. He's still got his man in scoring position. That is now Brady Smith, though. First pitch to him, that one's sent into right field, but it's going to be cut off by Sahid Valenzuela for the final out of the inning. Cotuit strikes first. They lead at 1-0. We go to the bottom of the first from Spillane on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. 1-0 Kettleers. The visitors strike first. But now Anthony Veneziano, who has been one of the hotter pitchers on the Cape, will have to deal with this Gatemen offense. And leading it off, who else? That's Isaac Collins. He's been probably the hottest hitter on the Cape, I think it's fair to say. Hitting close to 500 over the last week. He's been reaching base like a madman. 3 hits in yesterday's game. Like we said, only scored once, though. So I think a key of mine on the Gatemen Pregame Show that I mentioned was going to be the bats in the heart of the order, driving in guys like Collins, because guys like Collins, Valenzuela, Shenton, as that one's taken out on the outside corner for a strike, they're going to get on base, but it's going to be up to the Pavin Parkses and now the Cade Cavallis of the world, as Cavalli's batting 6th and playing first base today to drive those runners in. 1 in the dirt, 1-1 to Collins. Low and outside, 2-1. Isaac Collins out of Creighton. Hit 260 with a pair of home runs his sophomore campaign in the Big East.
You mentioned Collins being hot. Only a couple of names above him in terms of who is hottest in the Cape League. And he's got the most at-bats out of anybody above him or below him. Excuse me. In the last 7 days, he's played in 5 games with 20 ABs. He's at 400. Matthew Barefoot out of Hyannis with a 538 average in the last 7 days, but he's only played in 4 games with 13 at-bats, so the numbers are a bit skewed. Maybe the only guy that's been consistently hitting that is better than Isaac Collins over the past week, Johnny DeLuca out of YD is hitting 510 for 20 over the past week, and then Gabe Holt out of Bourne is 8 for 19 in his last 7 days, and now Collins is on with a walk, so the on-base percentage continues to creep up, and the on-base percentage has been fantastic all season for Collins, even when he was in that hitting slump. So now that he's on first base, that OBP continues to rise, and now he's coupling that with the average.
He's been doing it all for the Gatemen, indeed, JD. Originally out of the bottom of the lineup, but now has solidified himself as the everyday right fielder. And at the top of the lineup as well, the switch hitting Sahid Valenzuela now perennially bats out of this 2-hole. He's got a man on board to work with. First pitch strike delivered by Veneziano. Collins, putting together a good at-bat after good at-bat. A disciplined hitter, smaller guy, so he's got a smaller strike zone, but he'll make you pay if you leave something over the plate, or at least he has as of late. Pickoff attempt over to him. 4 stolen bases as well for Collins. Middle infield double play depth for Cotuit. The 0-1. Swinging a chop left side will go foul. Ryan Reynolds of Texas fields it in foul ground close to Mike Mobbs, the third base coach for the Gatemen. At first base, Matt Miller. Defensive alignment for Cotuit, Ryan Reynolds, Adam Oviedo, Brady Smith, and Michael Tolia, left to right in the infield. Left to right in the outfield, Peyton Burdick. Center field, Duke Ellis out of Texas, and Will Robertson in right.
Now keeping an eye on Isaac Collins. He's got 2 stolen bases on the season. I should say 3 now. He's been caught stealing once, but 2 of those 3 stolen bases have come over the last couple of days. So great speed. He had one yesterday at Cotuit. So the Kettleers are certainly making sure he doesn't move around the base paths freely, and they're going to let him move up with a wild pitch out of the hand of Anthony Veneziano.
Yeah, that one way outside, like you said, JD. Zach Humphreys behind the dish, had no chance of that one. Collins into second easily. And Zahid Valenzuela, 1 pitch further out of the hole, the 0-2 hole that Veneziano put him into. Valenzuela has been slumping a little bit the last couple of days, just one base knock in his last pair of ball games, but still hitting 323. Was hitting in the high 300s, low 400s for the better part of his first couple of weeks on the Cape. 1-2, shot down the first base line, but foul. We'll do it again.
And now that Isaac Collins is no longer on at first base, Michael Tolia, the first baseman, isn't holding him on, I should say. And they're kind of playing Sahid Valenzuela to pull right now, so Tolia is pretty far off the bag at first base, and there is some room on the right side of the infield.
Valenzuela can spray it to all parts of the park. Like a ball to the right side would be ideal. Tries to do it again there, but Fouls it off. 1-2. We will do it one more time. Valenzuela out of Cal State Fullerton, a late addition to this Gatemen team. This team was knocked out by the Washington Huskies in the last round of the Super Regional in the NCAA tournament. Veneziano going to try again with the 1-2. Humphrey sets up inside, and we will wait a little bit as they check on Collins. No one covering him fielding-wise. Austin Shenton back in the starting lineup today after an off day yesterday. He waits on deck. That one shot straight back, 1-2. But even Shenton, he got an off day yesterday, yes, but found himself getting some playing time as the Gatemen tried to pad the lead in the 9th inning against the Kettleers at Lowell Park, and came close to doing so. In that 9th inning, John Martellini got a one-out double. That one chopped third base side. Going to be gloved by Reynolds over at third, but called foul by Doug Isham at first base. Or at third base, excuse me. And they even put Oliver Dunn in at second, or in the lineup to pinch hit for, or to pinch run, I should say, for Martellini. Kreidler bounced out to Adam Oviedo at short. Austin Shenton was cut down by the ever-dominant reliever for Cotuit, Stephen Schock out of UMBC. His stuff is already really nasty and made even nastier by a very wonky delivery, three-quarter sidearm submarine slot guy. High leg kick, he hides the ball very well. 1-2 shot into right field, could get down for a base hit, and it will. Isaac Collins being waved around third by Mobbs. They're going to throw in, but it's cut off by Michael Tolia, and the Gatemen tie it up. Isaac Collins gets on, and Isaac Collins scores. Sounds like a recipe for success for the Gatemen.
It's been the recipe for success over the past couple of days. Scored 1 of the 2 runs yesterday for Wareham. Scored 2 of the 9 runs a couple of nights ago in Chatham. So Isaac Collins, like I said in the pregame show, has been the catalyst for this Gateman offense. If he gets on, it seems like everybody else behind him hits just a little bit better.
Now Austin Shenton in the lineup, or I should say to the box. He is back in the lineup. First pitch to him, strike taken on the outside corner. I want to talk about what Zahid Valenzuela did with that ball. I mean, he went out and got that thing. He saw a pitch on the outside corner, borderline, protecting with 2 strikes, just kind of pushed it into right field, barely got it fair. Will Robertson ranging over. Pickoff attempt over to first. Wow, that was close. Valenzuela barely back in there safely. Dan Boomhauer at first base throws his hands to the side, so Valenzuela is alive. Nobody out here for the Gatemen. They have tied it up 1-1. We're in the bottom of the 1st inning. The 0-1. Breaking ball doesn't do much breaking. Hangs upstairs, 1-1. Now the 1-1. In the dirt. Zach Humphreys can't find it. It rolls all the way back to the pitcher. And over to second easily is Zahid Valenzuela. Austin Shenton's day just got a little bit easier. Humphreys behind the dish tried to pick it, and he thought when it hit his glove it got under his legs, but he actually pushed it forward. So he was looking down and behind towards the red W, towards the backstop, but it dribbled all the way up to the pitcher's mound. So now another free base runner for the Gatemen. Austin Shenton's just about the last guy you want to be left with a runner in scoring position despite his recent slump.
Still leads the Gatemen in RBIs this season, one of the top RBI guys in the league, and a lot of those RBIs came out of the 8-hole in the early part of the season. That's where he was hitting when the likes of Andrew Vaughn and Bryson Stott and guys of that sort. Bryant Packard was still on the Cape and still with the Gatemen, and since being moved up into the top part of the lineup, into the 1-2-3 spot in there, he has pretty much been the 3-hole hitter for the Gatemen since he's moved up consistently, and he has continued to impress. He has not missed a beat since moving up And that's impressive that he can hit in multiple parts of the lineup and still be productive offensively.
That one hammered down the first base line. That's going to be another base hit. Could be extra bases for Shenton, but more importantly, around third is Zahid Valenzuela. He scores easily. And Austin Shenton providing the extra base power. He's in there with a double. The Gatemen take back the lead 2-1.
That's one way to break out of a slump if you're Austin Shenton.
No kidding.
That's the kind of thing you need from him. He's pretty pumped up after that little excitedness showing over to the dugout. He got a haircut. I'm wondering maybe if that haircut could be providing a little bit better aerodynamics.
I think so.
I think maybe that has something to do with it. You know, guys are superstitious.
We could run some tests.
We could. We'll have to ask him after the game. You know, was the haircut a superstition thing, or did you just need a haircut? It could have been just that.
Sometimes it's just a feel thing. Honestly, it's just it's like they say, look good, play good. Right? If you feel good, if you think you look good, you play good. Jeremy Idens has been playing good, or playing well, I should say, as of late. He's been hitting in that 4 spot recently. He chops that one foul straight back, 1-1. Idens in yesterday's contest hitless, but has driven his batting average, even after that 0-for-3 performance, up to .338. Did manage an RBI sac fly, so productive day. Drove in one of the Gatemen's only 2 runs, and they've already got 2 in the first here today. 1-1 breaking ball clips the outside corner. Heck of a pitch from Veneziano, 1-2. Still nobody out for Wareham. Potential big inning brewing here. This would be big to knock Veneziano out of this game early if this inning keeps going like this for Wareham. The 1-2, that one shot into left center field, going to get down for another base hit. Mike Mobbs immediately waving around Austin Shenton. He's going to score standing up. RBI single for the 4-hole hitter, Jeremy Idens.
Now Isaac Collins, the only Gateman that's come to bat that doesn't have an RBI in this game now. Although he did get it started, he didn't have anybody on base, so that's obviously no knock against him. He's the catalyst, as we said, that got this whole thing started. And Veneziano comes into this game as one of the best pitchers in the league, although he's only had 3 starts, and this offense has really gotten to him. I think this is a big test spot, these next 2 batters, Pavin Parks and Cade Cavalli. Parks has been on a bit of a cold streak of late. See if he can get back into it, and Cavalli still doesn't have a hit on the Cape this season. So if those guys can hit, then the Gatemen are really going to be in business, and they're already in business with a 3-1 lead.
That one popped up weakly third base side, and Reynolds under it and makes the grab. Disappointing AB for Pavin Parks, but still just 1 out. And like you said, JD, what has been a great inning for the Gatemen. They've scored 3 already. Collins reached with a walk. Zahid Valenzuela drove him in with a single after Collins was able to take second on a wild pitch. Valenzuela able to take second himself on a wild pitch. Austin Shenton doubled him in. Jeremy Idens singled him in. And Parks did pop out for the first out of the inning just a few seconds ago. But now Cade Cavalli out of Oklahoma, usually a starter for the Gatemen, will step in and try to get the better of Veneziano, who has been giving up base knocks left and right to start the game today. Takes ball 1 outside. Cavalli was a 2-way guy at Oklahoma, got plenty of ABs, but did lead the nation in strikeouts, unfortunately. He's 0-for-3 with 3 Ks on the Cape so far, trying to turn that around here. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Looks comfortable up there. It's not like he's a guy that they're trying to force to be a 2-way guy. Was 2 ways in high school in Bixby, Oklahoma. 2 ways at the University of Oklahoma this season, or I should say Oklahoma University. So, these are the things that from Cade Cavalli as he hits one this time under the glove. There you go.
There's that base knock he was looking for. First and second for the Gatemen. Cavalli busts out of a mini slump. They just keep moving it along here for Wareham. Now the 7th man to bat in the inning. It's number 5, Ryan Kreidler.
And hitting is contagious. And Cade Cavalli looks comfortable up there. He just needs to find a way to settle himself down, shorten up and simplify his approach, and he did that. He just took the pitch the way that Anthony Veneziano pitched it to him. He wasn't going to try to hit it for power. He just hit it right into the dirt. Or the stone dust, I should say. No dirt here. It's playing field. But hit it right into the dirt under the glove of the shortstop, Adam Oviedo, who's a good defensive shortstop. Tried to make a play on it, couldn't get to it. And now Cade Cavalli's on with his first hit of the season. And the Gatemen continue just to produce in this first inning. This is the kind of start for the offense you wanted to see after scoring just 2 runs yesterday at Lowell Park.
And although the Gatemen did not score first, they scored early, and that's huge for the Gatemen, like you alluded to, JD. When they do score first, they are darn near indestructible. Rarely has, because when they score first, they score often. If they're able to build a big lead like we've seen them do a ton this year, part of the reason they have such a filthy run differential that I believe it's plus 44 off the top of my head. It is indeed best in the league. That one outside 2-0 to Kreidler. But it's because when the bullpen comes in low leverage situations that the offense puts them in, they are stellar. In tight games, the Gatemen have faltered. They've had some success, but they've also faltered. Kreidler trying to keep the line moving. Outside 3-0. Veneziano sets, so does Kreidler. The 3-0 pitch. Outside, he lost him. That'll load the bases, second walk of the inning, and now the 8th man to bat in the inning, Drew Millis out of Missouri State, will have the bases loaded with 1 out. Just got to put one into the outfield, and it's a 4-1 Gatemen lead, you'd like to think.
If he puts one into the outfield, definitely. Could even be 5-1. Kate Cavalli athletic, pretty fast out there for a guy his size, but Millis is coming up in a big situation here. There have been times this season where he has left them loaded on grounding into double plays. That is not what you want to see in this time around for the Missouri State Bear, but he's in a big spot here, and he can certainly, he's not in a slump, but he hasn't hit fantastically this season. This is another guy that can really get things going, bottom of the order, drive in some runs, gain some confidence.
Now an outside 2-0. And he's not going to have to do much of anything if Veneziano keeps missing the zone like this. Takes a deep breath on the hill, just trying to center himself and get out of this inning. I mean, even if the worst case scenario should happen and Millis does bounce into that double play, still a nice bounce back inning, or a response inning, if you will. That one's outside 3-0 from the Gatemen. Cotuit struck for 1 in the top of the inning. Wareham with 3. They lead it by 2. That one upstairs. Fire up the merry-go-round. The red jerseys all move up a base, and it's 4-1 Gatemen.
Veneziano just really doesn't have the stuff tonight right now, and the pitching coach for Cotuit's going to come out and have a chat with him on the mound, and he's done. There wasn't even a discussion. The pitching coach just took the ball from him. His night is done. He just doesn't have it tonight.
I mean, the leadoff walk wasn't even concerning, considering Collins draws walks very well. But 3 straight base hits, a weak pop out from Pavin Parks, but then a base hit and back-to-back walks, one of those coming with the bases loaded. That is a recipe for disaster. So we're going to take a quick break here from Spillane Field as the Cotuit Kettleers go to the bullpen early. It's been all Gatemen so far on the Gatemen Baseball Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Things are getting ugly early for the Kettleers. They trail it 4-1, and the bases are loaded with one out in the bottom of the first. They trail it by 3 in the ninth man to bat in the inning. Skylar Hunter up to the plate. And starter Anthony Veneziano has been knocked out of this ball game. Has given up 4 hits, 4 earned runs so far. Operative phrase so far, along with 3 walks and no strikeouts. Not looking a lot better. Is his replacement as he sends ball 1 in low. But bounces back with a strike at the knees to Hunter. Bryce Jarvis out of Duke. You got 1-1 to Hunter, 5.25 ERA. Bullpen guy occasionally. 3 starts, but 5 appearances total. This will be his 6th. That one in the dirt. Zach Humphreys working hard today behind the plate.
Just a lot of stuff has missed the strike zone. 4-pitch walk to Drew Millis with the bases loaded. You got 2-1 now to Skylar Hunter. Cotuit has to find a way to settle things in here at the very least.
Skylar Hunter fouls one off his foot, 2-2.
It's a big spot for Skylar Hunter, who has been much better of late. Struggled at the early part of the season, but over his last couple of games has been much more efficient and just frankly much better, hitting .308 in his last 10 games.
He's been swinging a hot bat as of late. See if he can blow this one wide open. Shoots that one on a missile over the third base dugout, 2-2.
He's got 3 RBIs in those last 10 games as well, and for a guy that's in the 9 hole, that's pretty darn good considering you've got an RBI pretty much every other game. He's also got a couple of extra base hits. 26 plate appearances.
That one clips the outside corner, 4 strike 3. Hunter goes down looking. He's not happy with the call. But that's the first strikeout of the day for Cotuit. Pitching second out of the inning and batting for the second time in the inning is Isaac Collins.
This is now the second time this season that Isaac Collins will bat from 2 different sides of the plate in the same inning.
Yeah.
The 9-run third against Hyannis a couple of weeks ago, and now here against Cotuit.
That one in the dirt. 1-0 to Collins. Walk to start things off. Came around to score on the Zahid Valenzuela RBI single. And Valenzuela, of course, on deck. Got a donut on that bright red bat to go with the bright red jerseys today. Home game Friday with the Cape Cod across the front, white numbers on the back. 1-0, just up and away, 2-0. Gateman, bottom of the first. It has been all Wareham so far. The 2-0 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, shallow left field, converging on it. Burdick comes in, and the side is retired. Collins pops out to end the inning. Jarvis gets out of a tough spot with back-to-back outs, but the Gatemen, what a response. Send 10 men to the plate, score 4, and that is how much they lead it by. This lead it 4-1. We go to the top of the second here from the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. 4-1 Gatemen. The offense lights it up early, sent 10 men to the plate. The first 4 score. They do leave them loaded, though, as Anthony Veneziano did not last long. Lasted just a third of an inning, gave up 4 earned runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, no strikeouts. For a guy who had it all figured out the last 2 starts, took a no-hitter into the 6th inning against Harwich just a few days ago, but has been all Gateman, and the offense has made him pay. This looks like the Gateman offense that we are used to seeing. We've kind of been spoiled in the early goings of things, as ball 1 is delivered outside to Ryan Reynolds. Millis sets up low and in. 1-0 from Proctor. Breaking ball drops in there. 1-1. The count evens. Duke Ellis and Zach Humphreys wait in the deck, on deck, and in the hole, respectively. That one shot into center field for a base hit. Line drive off the bat of Reynolds. And Cotuit, they are not going down without a fight. Still early on here, though. It looks like they are in business and looking to answer back. Cotuit desperate for a win. They are in last place behind Bourne. Falmouth has crept up into 3rd. But it is a logjam in the bottom half of those standings in the West Division. Just a point separating the 3 teams. Falmouth ahead of Bourne by run differential, and Cotuit just 1 point behind them. First pitch, shot into right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Back-to-back singles on back-to-back pitches for the Kettleers. Ryan Reynolds moves up to 2nd, and now Zach Humphreys, he represents the tying run all of a sudden.
And I think, again, Will Proctor just missed up with a fastball. That's been really the crux of what has gone wrong for Will Proctor through these first 2 innings. Left a breaking ball up to Will Robertson when he doubled, but then on the Brady Smith RBI double, he left a fastball up to Reynolds, and now left one over the plate for Duke Ellis. So, like I said, this fastball is so crucial to Will Proctor's success in terms of what he has in his arsenal as a converted infielder.
Time is called back in. Humphreys with the solo home run early on to cut into what was then a 2-1 Wareham lead. Takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. The catcher out of TCU had his work cut out for him, and the early goings of things, or in the last half inning, I should say, is Cotuit pitching just couldn't seem to find the strike zone, especially Veneziano, the starter. 0-1, drops a bunt down. That one popped up. Mills with a chance at it, and he makes the catch. Visibly frustrating with himself as Humphreys, as he should be. 1 out and a big one now for Adam Oviedo.
That's a very athletic play from Drew Millis. One of the smaller kind of guys behind the plate. When you think catcher, you think more of a guy like Luke Roscom or Gian Martellini. A little bit shorter, a little bit stockier, a little bit more bulky. Drew Millis is very athletic behind the plate, and I'm not sure that Martellini or Roscom would have made that play, but because of Millis' speed, athleticism, agility, he gets up from the crouch and is able to get down or put down a hitter that had a home run yesterday in Zach Humphreys.
It was a quiet day for Cotuit offensively, but Humphreys did have that home run. It kind of highlighted an otherwise pretty humdrum day for the Kettleers. 0-1 as Oviedo swings through a breaking ball. Proctor trying to work out of a jam here. He'll have a lot of success if he keeps things low. Best case scenario is double play ball here. Gatemen haven't turned a ton of them this year, but they've been crisp when they do. Two on, 1 out for Cotuit. They trail by 3. The 0-1 from Proctor. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
There's that breaking ball diving away from the right-handed batter, Oviedo. And that's the pitch that is so effective for Will Proctor. Now he just needs to get that set-up fastball across a little bit more often and across in a good spot where guys can't hit it, and he will be very successful.
Oviedo facing an 0-2 count. Setting up low and away is Millis. The pitch, went with the fastball that time. Check swing, fouled the straight back. Still in the driver's seat, though, is Proctor. And that fastball, like you said, JD, if he keeps it down, it can work great as a swing and miss pitch, as he does have kind of 2 breaking balls, a slurvy type pitch but also the traditional breaking ball, and that has been his out pitch for a guy who doesn't really have a power out pitch, or just a weak contact out pitch. Valenzuela retreats behind second. The 0-2 in the dirt. Mills keeps it in front of him, scrambles up to his feet. No harm, no foul. Still at first and second are Duke Ellis and Ryan Reynolds, respectively. Plays his bat a couple times. Sets the black stick over his right shoulder. The 1-2. That one swung on and hammered into center field. Skylar Hunter comes back on it and makes the catch. Took a couple steps forward and a couple steps back, but the center fielder from Purdue, sure-handed as always out in center field. And a big out for the Gatemen, I should say. Back to the top of the order we go. From Wright State, Peyton Burdick bats. He is 0 for 1.
It's a big out for Will Proctor. Well-hit ball from Adam Oviedo. Almost a tough play out there for Skylar Hunter, but as we've talked about many times this season, that line drive right at an outfielder is the toughest ball to play. But he figured it out. First took a couple of steps in, not always what you want to do, but then figured it out as he took a couple of steps back. He has been probably the most reliable defender on this Gateman roster. As we talked about in that first inning, we really haven't seen him miss many balls like he did on the one that was hit over his head. Really nothing he could do about that one.
No.
But he has made some fantastic plays in the outfield this season, and he continues to make the routine ones look even better.
He's as good as they come out there in center field and has been swinging a better bat as of late, solidifying his spot in that 9-hole. Swing and a miss. Burdick wanted all of that one and got none of it. 1-1. Will Robertson waits on deck, doubled and scored in the first. Fourth meeting of the year between these two teams. Gatemen lead the series 2-1, with that tie coming yesterday at Lowell Park. 1-1 misses low, 2-1. Or excuse me, 2-0-1. My apologies. The Gatemen have not lost a game to this Cotuit team yet. With 2 down, infield playing a little more back. Double play depth relinquished. Valenzuela retreats back to his spot. That one shot straight back, 2-2. Gatemen. We're in the top of the second. Cotuit trying to answer back after having Anthony Veneziano's start blow up in their faces. The 2-2 from Proctor. Swing and a miss. Look out, he let go of the bat. That is a swing and a miss, though. An eventful one as it clatters over the fence and behind some spectators. No one got hurt, thankfully. But strikeout number 2 from Will Proctor, brought to you as always by Langek, Safaris, and Bullard. After 2 leadoff singles, Proctor sits him down 1-2-3, and the Gatemen escape the inning unscathed. In just a second, we're going to have our own Mary Orders.
Guys, so I'm here with Daniel Longton. So Daniel, can you explain what your job is for the team?
Yeah, so I take of all the players and events that go around for the organization, and I do promotional videos, highlight reels, and then short documentaries for the team as well. And
you've started a new short documentary series called Gate Takes. Can you explain that a little bit? And it's specifically your first episode.
Yeah, so I idea off of Facebook page, Sock Doc. So what it is I'm just sitting down with a couple players at a time and just talking about their personal lives, their journey to get to the Cape League, their futures, and all the accolades they've achieved. So it's been a fun, enjoyable ride, and I'm excited to do a couple more for the rest of the summer.
Great, Dan. Make sure to watch the Gateman YouTube channel to check that out.
Thank you to Mary. Thank you to Dan. Yeah, really cool stuff he's doing. He's got a little a multi-part. So far, just one part, but it's going to be multi-part production. I can't think of a better word. I'm sorry. My brain quit on me. production called Gate Takes. The first episode was myself and Ian Becerra, our beat writer, got to sit down with two of the Team USA guys before they left, Andrew Vaughn and Bryson Stott. Big parts of the offense, big parts of this team. We got two guys who didn't really know each other at all and became really good friends through the short going of the summer that they had here at Cape Cod. It was really awesome to be able to sit down with them, learn about, like Dan said, their baseball lives, but also a little bit of their personal lives. Really fun stuff. And that's on our YouTube channel. I just put it out a couple days ago on the same YouTube channel you're watching this on right now. That one chopped out the bat of Valenzuela. Over to second, and he boofed it. Off his glove. Brady Smith couldn't corral it. Took his eyes off the ball, and Zahid Valenzuela reaches on an E4. Tough break for the Kets.
The designated hitter, number 12, Austin Shenton from Florida International.
In this bottom of the second, Gatemen in business. This is not the start to the inning that Cotuit wanted. Defense not able to back up the pitching staff here. And although Bryce Jarvis has looked good, got unlucky with one there. Shenton drops a bunt down the third base line. Absolutely golden. No one was there. Mental lapse defensively by the Cotuit defense. Ryan Reynolds was nowhere to be found. And he pushed in. Shenton pushed that one far enough away from Jarvis and Humphreys at pitcher and catcher respectively to put himself aboard. First and second, nobody out of nowhere.
Almost looked like they might have been in the shift there. They were. Ryan Reynolds was playing toward the shortstop hole. And the shortstop, Adam Oviedo, was behind second base. So they were playing Austin Shenton to pull way away from even close to opposite field going the other way. And Austin Shenton, which I like so much from a lot of hitters, I think hitters don't do this enough, is they're giving you a free base if you can just get down even a passable bunt down the third base side. There was nothing special about that bunt. If Ryan Reynolds had been there, he probably would have made the play to eliminate Austin Shenton, but I don't think guys do it enough. They're giving you a free base. You take it, and Austin Shenton, I don't know if it was coming strictly from him. He's like, I'm just going to get on any way I can, or if there was a plan there to bunt from Don Snedden and staff, but that was a great play either way for Austin Shenton. Second hit of the day for him.
Yeah, really awesome. You love to see that. Jeremy Idens working a 1-1 count, sends that one high, foul territory, left field side. And running out of room are Ryan Reynolds and Adam Oviedo. So 1-2 goes the count to Idens. And they ruled it a single to Brady Smith off the bat of Valenzuela, which, I mean, I guess I see the argument. Valenzuela's quick. That was a chopper that would have taken a pretty nifty play from Smith to send over to first, but sort of a win-win. Brady's fielding percentage doesn't go down, and Valenzuela's batting average goes up. So back-to-back singles for the 2-3 guys in the Cotuit lineup, or the Kettleers, or my goodness, the Gatemen lineup. My apologies. But going back to what you said, JD, about Shenton, I mean, that's why you got to work on bunting. Like you said, I mean, you got to be a multi-tool guy there at the plate. And Shenton says, okay, you're leaving that open. Like you said, I'm just going to put a ball right there where no one can reach it. Try and stop me. 2-2 upstairs, 3-2.
And when you do stuff like that, that now says to Cotuit, well, we can't put the shift on him again. He's just going to lay down another bunt. He's done it successfully once. I'd be very surprised the next time Austin Shenton comes to the plate if they go shift again against him. But think about guys like David Ortiz. You know how many, I understand Poppy was not a fast guy. This one lifted into high right field, and it's going to be hanging up there for Will Robertson. Zahid Valenzuela will tag from second, and Austin Shenton will tag from first successfully, close play. But you think about a guy like a David Ortiz, not a fast guy. Poppy on MLB The Show had a speed rating of 0. You know how bad you have to be in terms of base running to have a 0 speed on MLB The Show? Well, David Ortiz did it, especially in the latter half of his career. But even a guy like that, you know how much higher his career batting average could have been if he laid down a couple of bunts here and there? I'm not saying bunt every time that the shift is on against you. That's just silly, because when you got a hitter as good as David Ortiz or as good as Austin Shenton, you'd like to see him hit for extra bases like Shenton did in his first at-bat today. But, you know, every once in a while, it's a good little way to get yourself going, get yourself on base, and keep the offense going for your team.
Oh, very well articulated, JD. I agree with you, but again, I mean, we've seen in games or in pregame the last week or so, Gatemen coaching staff intentionally working with guys on bunting as that one is hammered into right field. Pavin Parks continues a good day at the plate, or excuse me, starts a good day off at the plate to score from second and third easily. Saheed Valenzuela and Austin Shenton score. It is 6-1 Gatemen. And that one shot into center field, but looking like routine for Duke Ellis. Takes a step to his right, then a step to his left. Turns and grabs it out of the air, out number 2. Well hit off the bat of Cavalli, but right to Ellis, like we mentioned. And now Ryan Kreidler will bat with a man in scoring position and 2 down, but now a 5-run lead for Wareham in the 5th inning. Kreidler showed a little bit of power in the Brewster game. That 4-1 win at home with a solo shot, his first of the year. Took it into the football bleachers beyond left field at Spillane. First pitch of the Gatemen shortstop, a strike at the knees. That one hammered into left field, but it's going to hook foul. Got a hold of it. Bit of a mistake there by Jarvis on 0-2. Can't leave that one upstairs like that. It's still 0-2. We'll see if he corrects it and gets out of the inning for Cotuit. Drew Millis waits on deck. Him and Kreidler at the plate, both walks in their last plate appearances. Both came last inning in that 4-run first for Wareham. The 0-2. Thought about it, got him on the outside corner. Steve Durant rings him up on the outside corner on the breaking ball out of the hand of Bryce Jarvis. Second one of the day for him, and the side is retired. The Gatemen score 2 but strand 1. We go to the top of the 3rd from Spillane Field on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. 6-1 Gatemen. Will Proctor working with a hefty cushion runs-wise. The Gatemen add 2 more in the bottom of the second. Cotuit trying to claw back into this one. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the visiting Kettleers. 6 runs, 7 hits, no errors already for the Wareham Gatemen. It's come from just about everybody. While the Gatemen offense has been good, no cheap hits for this team so far. It really was Anthony Veneziano that melted down in a big way. Couldn't find the strike zone. Was leaving pitches up as well. Bryce Jarvis had a little bit of a mess to clean up. He gave up 2 runs in the second. But Cotuit might still be in this one, if not for a, we'll say, off day for Veneziano. I think, like you said, he just didn't have it.
He just didn't have the stuff at all. Everything was up. Everything was right over the heart, and the Gatemen were just hitting absolute rockets off him. And like you said, nothing cheap. Everything was hit hard. Everything was hit in a gap, and they just piled it on and piled it on. That's the Gatemen offense we're used to seeing.
The 1-1. This is upstairs. 2-1 to Will Robertson. Robertson 1 for 1 with a double and scored a run back in the first inning. He was driven in by Brady Smith, who also doubled. And that one lifted weakly into right center field. Going to get down for a base knock into the glove of his Creighton teammate and roommate, Isaac Collins. Second hit of the day for Robertson. One aboard here, nobody out for Cotuit.
How cool would it have been if Isaac Collins just robbed Will Robertson of a hit? He didn't have a chance because the ball was hit a little bit too softly, a little bit too far back for a powerful guy like Robertson, but that would have been something special. That would have been something where Isaac Collins would have never let Will Robertson live that one down.
Oh, no way. No, as soon as they get back to Nebraska, it's the first thing he's hearing about. Swing and a miss on a fastball upstairs from Proctor. 0-1, one on, nobody out for Thomas Dillard. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. One for Proctor. Breaking ball low, 1-1. Proctor set the 1-1. That one shot on one hop. Valenzuela off his chest. Going to go to second for one. Across to first. Kreidler in time. 4-6-3. A double play for the Gatemen. Sahid Valenzuela recovers and fields it cleanly to start off the double play. That one brought to you by TM Ryder Insurance Agency. Package your home and auto insurance for the perfect double play. TM Ryder, steering and securing your course for insurance since 1877.
That's one of the tougher plays to make if you're Sahid Valenzuela. That's a tweener right there. Well hit line drive, falls about 3 feet maybe in front of him. You have to make a decision early on if you're going to come in and charge it and try to catch it on a line or if you're going to let it hop to you. He made a decision there, let it hop to him. Great recovery as it bounced off his chest. I was expecting him to maybe turn to first and get the easy out, but he's a good defender at shortstop and at second base. He's done it all for Cal State Fullerton and for the Gatemen this year, and he makes a heads-up play and gets both runners out. Huge for the Gatemen.
Now in the dirt, Sahid Valenzuela comes up big, erases the threat on the base paths. It seems like nothing is going right for Cotuit. If there was a ball to butcher a double play on the ground, that was it. Like you said, JD, that is a very tough play for an infielder to make, but Sahid Valenzuela is not just any infielder. Proctor shakes off the sign from Millis. Now likes one, but time is called by Brady Smith at the plate. 1 for 1, that batting average going up, 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 up for him. Close to 500 on the year. Actually, right at 500. 1 for 1 today with a double swing and a miss. 2-0, or 2-1, excuse me. Base is empty, 2 down. The 2-1 to Smith. Just low. Really good pitch on 2-1. Doesn't get the call from Steve Durant's behind home plate. The 3-1 now to a dangerous Brady Smith. That one misses low. Ball 5, or ball 4 on a 5-pitch walk. Number came into my head before I spat it out.
Ball 5 would have been impressive.
Yeah.
That would have been a first for me. 5 balls in an at-bat.
So the Cotuit Kettleers do have new life. Brady Smith reaches for the second time today. Michael Tolia shot one into the glove of Sahid Valenzuela his last time up. In his last 7 games does have 3 home runs. Has cooled down a little bit. His batting average dips below the Mendoza line at a .191. Takes ball 1 up and away. He's been on a little bit of a tear so far for the boys in maroon. The now last place Kettleers, as we mentioned, just 1 point separating the 3 teams at the bottom of the standings. Falmouth, Bourne, and Cotuit in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. That one shot foul, 1-1.
Like you said in the pregame, it's not like Cotuit's a bad team. They're floating at 500 right now. In the East, they would be the 3rd best team in the division, behind only Chatham and Orleans. Chatham and Harwich really are switching up and down a couple of times in the middle of that. Or I shouldn't say Chatham and Orleans. I should say YD, Harwich, and Chatham at the top of that division. So this isn't a bad team. They're just they're playing in a tough division.
That one sharply hit, but into the glove of Cade Cavalli, who drops to a knee and fields it pretty adeptly, takes it himself, and the side is retired. The Gatemen get a double play and strand a runner. Scoreless in the third for Cotuit. We go to the bottom half of the frame here from Spillane Field. 6-1 Gatemen on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Bottom of the third, 8-9-1 set to go against the reliever Bryce Jarvis. Came on with one out in the first inning as Anthony Veneziano had a forgettable start. He was rocked in the first by the Gatemen offense. 4 earned runs on 4 hits, 3 free passes as well. Bryce has been serviceable, or excuse me, Bryce Jarvis has been serviceable out of the pen for these Cotuit Kettleers, but now behind the count on Drew Millis, 2-0. Now one shot high, but lazily into left center field. Actually, that one carrying a little more than I thought initially, but right into the glove of Duke Ellis. Drew Millis got a low outside fastball and took it a long, long way. No wind, so that one just all raw power. A long, loud out, but an out nonetheless. Millis is retired, 1 away for Skylar Hunter. Strike 1 to the knees of Skylar Hunter. 0 for 1 today, but like JD mentioned, hitting a shade over 300 in his last 10 at-bats. Very good stuff for him, the Gateman center fielder. He's got that speed in the bottom of the lineup. The second leadoff spot, as it's often called. And offensively, after a rough start to the year, seems to have found a little something. 0 for 1 with a strikeout today, though. And that one lifted into left field, but lazily right into the glove of Peyton Burdick for out number 2.
This is the first time the Gatemen haven't had either of the first 2 runners reach base. First and second innings, both runners, the first 2 runners, or excuse me, the first 2 batters of the inning have reached base. Isaac Collins and Sahid Valenzuela in the first, and then Valenzuela and Shenton in the second. It's been an absolutely electric day offensively for the Gatemen, and Isaac Collins will look to keep it going here for Wareham.
It absolutely has. Isaac Collins bats here in the third inning. His third at-bat in as many innings. Just shows you the kind of day it's been for the Wareham offense. Electric, as you say, JD. That one lifted into right center field, going deep. Robertson and Ellis converging on it, and Ellis makes another play. A remarkably fast inning for Bryce Jarvis and company, and the Gatemen go down 1-2-3. We're going to send it real quick here to our Ian Becerra. Who has our first look around the Cape League. Going to the scoreboard. Ian, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Enrique. 4 other games in progress right now. They've all started and are underway. Over in Bourne, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead the Braves 3-2. That game is in the 6th inning. Over in Falmouth, the first place YD Red Sox lead 4-1, and that game is in the bottom of the 5th. YD has 10 hits in that game, but just 4 RBIs, and they have in that one. Over in Harwich, the Whitecaps are tied with the Mariners 1-1. That game is in the bottom of the 3rd. And over in Orleans, the Chatham Anglers are ahead 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. That's our first Cape League update. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Ian. A lot of action going on today, as he mentioned. That YD team, a tough one at the top of the East. They've solidified their spot atop the East, but as JD alluded to earlier, it kind of has been an up and down year, but as Chatham and Harwich have faltered, especially Harwich, as they drop firmly into 3rd, and with Orleans nipping at their heels there, it seems like those are going to be the 4 teams, Chatham, YD, Harwich, and Orleans in the 2, 1, 3, 4 spots in the East, respectively, as Brewster continues to languish. But the 2, 3, 4, I think is up for grabs. I think YD will probably end up as the 1 seed there, but it's going to be an interesting race in the East for the seeding. But for the playoff spots in general, the West a lot more interesting. Gatemen, I would imagine, in pretty good shape to make the playoffs. Hyannis looking good as well, but the other 3 teams, Bourne, Falmouth, and Cotuit, all languishing around 500. So one of those teams, all deserving to make the playoffs in my opinion, but one of them will miss out when everything's said and done in about 2 weeks here.
And it's one of those unfortunate occurrences. Orleans 6 games under 500 right now. They are almost a lock to make the playoffs as long as Brewster doesn't get hot toward the end of the season, because they've got already a 6-point lead right now on the Whitecaps, so that's +3 wins over Brewster. So considering Brewster's only got 6 wins the entire season, it's going to be really tough for them to pick up a couple more with Orleans continuing to falter. It's got to be a combination of both moving forward. And by far, Orleans will have the tiebreaker right now. The first tiebreaker is run differential. Orleans is -16, but Brewster is -52 this season. So Orleans feels like a lock at this point, despite being down by, despite being under 500 by 6 games. And then you kind of feel bad for the Cotuit, Bourne, and Falmouths of the world, because one of those 3 will not make the playoffs.
Yeah, the West and the East in the Cape League looking almost analogous to the West and the East in the NBA. I think myself and Cotuit broadcaster Sam Brief were talking about that. He said, yeah, we're kind of like the Nuggets. Which I don't know why you picked that team specifically, but I mean, any 9 through, or I should say 7 through 10 in the West, usually a lock to make the East, but because of just how tough that specific set of the league is, it is a bit of a struggle to make the playoffs despite how well you play. That one shot 2-2. Foul. Ryan Reynolds putting together a pretty good at bat here.
And then you look at the East as well. Between 1st and 5th, a 19-point difference between Brewster and YD. In the West right now, it's these 2 teams, Wareham with 33 points, Cotuit with 26. That's just a 7-point difference. So if somebody goes cold, we could even see a team like maybe Hyannis, maybe if they start to fall off a bit and the other 3 teams play well, they could easily, Hyannis might miss the playoffs. There are a lot of different scenarios in this Western Division. I'd say nothing is right now really a lock in terms of who will and who will not make the playoffs in the West Division, because you could see really anything happen. I think the 2 safest teams are Wareham and Hyannis. But again, neither of those are perfectly in there in the West Division because it is so competitive, and you're going to play a West Division heavy schedule at the end of the year.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, JD. And before I add to that point, as we see Duke Ellis shoot 1 foul for strike 1, Ryan Reynolds did bounce out to Cade Cavalli. A couple ground balls in a row gone his way. He has been so far so good, nothing too challenging over there at first base, but like I said, so far so good. And Hyannis is one of those teams that it seems like everybody's just kind of waiting to fall off, because their run differential is absolutely abysmal. And run differential is usually a pretty good litmus test of how good or bad a team is. Now one chopped foul down the first base line, but like you've been known to say, they've gotten absolutely blown out by this Gatemen team. I mean, it's been like 9-1, 9-0 in favor of Hyannis and Wareham respectively in 2 of the blowouts, but like 14 runs of that run differential have come just, or actually 15 I should say, if you count the 4-3 win, have come just from the Wareham Gatemen.
Yeah, it's -23 on the season, so that's still -8 against all other teams. It's still baffling that they are where they are, but it is a bit of a skewed number because it is the 2nd worst run differential in the league for a 2nd place team in the better division. So Hyannis, I guess it could be considered a pretty good litmus test, a pretty good indicator of how well or how poorly they could fall off toward the end of the season, because 2 other teams below them have positive run differentials. Falmouth has a plus 14 run differential.
Yeah.
Bourne has plus 9, Cotuit at minus 2, and that number will go down if the score and the result right now where we are holds, or if it gets even more ugly for the Cotuit Kettleers. But it's really interesting to look at this league and the way it is shaping out as we continue to race toward the playoffs.
This one again to Cade Cavalli, but decides to flip it over to Will Proctor, so a 3-1 put out for a little change of pace. 2 away here, 3 straight Kettleers retired by Gateman pitching. No, but I couldn't agree with you more, JD. I mean, it is going to be interesting, and I think, yeah, like the point I made, just kind of start this off. One of those 3 teams, someone in the West is going to end up very, very frustrated. I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean, that minus 28 run differential. I mean, you said second worst, and I mean, yeah, the only team with the worst run differential is Brewster. They've won 6 games all year. One of them has been against the Gatemen. It was in blowout fashion. That was probably their best win of the year, and by far the Gatemen's worst loss of the year. But it was good to see them hit a soft reset button and bounce back against Chatham.
And then you look at the standings from last year. The Gatemen got in 7 games under 500, 18-25 with 1 tie on the season. They got in and then made it all the way to the West Division Finals. So any of these teams, even a team like Cotuit, if they hit the right hot spot at the right part of the season, they could easily make it into the playoffs and deep into the playoff tournament.
It's going to be a good one down the stretch here, but this game all of a sudden going much quicker as both sides working remarkably. Proctor and Jarvis for Wareham and Cotuit respectively. Jarvis going to be back out to work here, we expect. We'll find out when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 6-1 Wareham here from Spillane.
Second baseman, number 3, Sahid Valenzuela.
Welcome back to Spillane Field. My name is Enrique DeMore. To my right, JD Rachi in the bottom of the 4th, 6-1 Gateman. It's been an absolute explosion for the Wareham offense so far, and Sahid Valenzuela puts a charge into one, sends it into right field, deep. Robertson looking up, and he will watch it go. Sahid Valenzuela, his 2nd home run of the year, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. There's nothing this kid can't do at the plate. 7-1 Wareham early on in the 4th.
That was just a line drive that kept on carrying and carrying and carrying and carrying. Eventually, Will Robertson just ran out of room. We really didn't think that it was going to get out, but it got out in a little bit of a hurry. He's hit 1 from each side of the plate now, 1 from the right-handed batter's box, 1 from the left-handed batter's box, and as you mentioned, 1 to left field, 1 to right field, both line drives. A guy that did not have a home run this season at Cal State Fullerton has 2 on the Cape.
All I got to do is put a wood bat in his hands, I guess. Make him face a little better pitching, and he shines.
Steps up, plays to the competition.
Big-time players make big-time plays, and look at this, the shift back on for Shenton. 3 infielders on the right.
The shift on, but they're making sure that somebody's there for the bunt.
No.
Ryan Reynolds is on the lip of the grass.
Yeah, he's ready.
So they're not going to let him do anything. But if he pokes one even remotely toward the shortstop position, or what normally would be the shortstop position, he's got another hit.
And you don't hit 400 on the Cape without shooting balls to both sides of the field, but Shenton has been a pull hitter. And Cotuit playing to that. I'm trying to think if we've seen a shift put on someone on the Cape League this year. Is that one is shot foul 2-2? Can you think of anything, JD?
We have once or twice. I can't remember exactly who it is, but definitely seeing it in back-to-back at-bats is not something you'd normally think of in terms of the Cape. It's more of a major league AAA thing. Even in like the lower levels of the minors, you don't see it a lot because guys aren't so sophisticated and defenses aren't so sophisticated and guys aren't dead pull as much. And now they're going to shift the shift around. They're not worried here with 2 strikes about the bunt anymore, so Reynolds is playing shortstop.
And that one lifted, foul again, this one to the left side.
And it's interesting, they have the infield in a shift, but the outfield is straight up for Shenton. So there's room down either side and there's room in the gaps. They're kind of pinching him in a little bit towards center field, if anything.
Now the payoff pitch. Humphrey sets up inside. That one lifted into right field, into the shift, but over the head of Adam Oviedo at short, playing in the second base spot. Base knock for Shenton. He moves it to 3 for 3 on the day. I think it's safe to say he's gotten out of the slump.
Yeah, I'd say he has. Maybe he just needed that fresh cut. I'm serious. I think the cut might be something, might be playing into this game today for Austin Shenton. He was getting a little shaggy. I like the lettuce, don't get me wrong. Lettuce is great. I can't grow it, so I like to see it on other guys, but it's working. Isaac Collins also got his haircut a couple of days ago, so, I mean, all I'm saying is sometimes a fresh cut's all you need.
There are a few things that a good haircut can't do. It really is phenomenal to see.
Like you said, look good, feel good, play well, really.
Mm-hmm. Runner on first, nobody out. Sahid Valenzuela with a line drive home run into right center field to start things off. Gatemen now lead it by 6th. Very comfortably in the lead here. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball out of the hand of Jarvis. Reliever out of Duke. Iden's waiting on the 1-1. Sends that one high into center field. Going back on it a couple steps is Duke. Ellis, and he makes the catch. One away here, still 1 on for Pavin Parks. Roped a double down the right field line. His last time up drove in 2. I was back in the second inning. Sahid Valenzuela, who reached via an infield single, as well as Austin Shenton, who laid down that bunt and spat in the face of the shift, which was pretty cool to see. Came back to bite the Cotuit Kettleers. Those are the 5th and 6th runs of the day for Wareham. They got another one, like I said, on that Valenzuela home run, and Parks trying to add to it, and that one low to him, 1-0.
This is what we needed to see from the Gatemen in terms of offense today. Everybody producing. Everybody but Skylar Hunter has been on at least once in this game. So now you're just waiting for Skylar Hunter to get things going, and he has been great of late. So you're not even all that worried about him. 5 different guys have RBIs. 2 guys have multiple RBIs. It's been a great day for the Gatemen.
And Skylar Hunter, he does find a way to be productive, kind of no matter what as of late. He takes really good at-bats. Again, as of late, he was heavy on the strikeouts in the first couple weeks of the season, but has been a more disciplined hitter at the plate. And he's put some charges into some balls as well. He's gotten robbed of a few base knocks, extra base knocks. The 3-0 in the dirt, 4-pitch walk puts Pavin Parks aboard. Over to second goes Shenton. Now Cade Cavalli will bat with 2 on and 1 out. He's 1 for 2 today, single and a flyout.
And both balls he's hit have been either well hit or hardly hit. The first one was well hit in terms of the fact that it got under the glove of Adam Oviedo and was well placed in the 5.5 hole. The second one was hit hard to dead center field, and Duke Ellis made a nice play to go back on it and make the catch. But Cavalli has shown that he is comfortable at the plate and that he can produce if you put him at the dish.
Now Cavalli, who has held his own in the field, will take ball one, spins out of the way of that one. Again, nothing too challenging hit at him at first base, but so far so good. Dropped to a knee on a couple, optimized keeping the ball out of the outfield as opposed to maybe taking one off the chest. You'd love to see that. 1-0, rip and a miss.
Good breaking ball there from the right-hander Jarvis. Not something we've seen, the nastiness from him today.
No, that was one of the sharper pitches he's thrown, absolutely. Middle infield pinched, for Cotuit, Oviedo and Smith at short and second respectively, ready for that potential double play ball. 1-1, swing and a miss. One breaking ball low and in, fastball up and away. Keeping Cavalli guessing in this at-bat, 1-2. Two on, one out. Gatemen have scored in every inning but the third. Trying to add more here in the fourth. The 1-2. Upstairs, good take. But a good pitch as well. Try to get him to chase that high fastball. Like we talked about, hitters' eyes get real big, especially in two-strike counts, trying to protect. The zone expands a little bit. You send a fastball upstairs, well located, and you can get some really ugly swings and misses. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. Third strikeout of the day for Mr. Jarvis. Kate Cavalli is sat down via the way of the K, and Ryan Kreidler steps up to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. Walk and a strikeout for him. Two on, two out, and the shift put on for Kreidler. You see three infielders moving to the left side, playing Kreidler to pull. And with 2 outs, no bunt shenanigans possible, so over at first base, Michael Tolia playing just a few feet off the bag. And that breaking ball drops in there very nicely, 0-2. It's bounced back nicely from the 4-pitch walk to Pavin Parks, has Bryce Jarvis. He's got Kreidler on the ropes here, trying to strike him out for the second time today. 2 on, 2 out in the fourth. The 0-2. Swinging a high fly ball, lazily hit foul, straight back. We'll do it again. Back half of a home and home between these two teams. The Gatemen got their first tie of the year yesterday at Lowell Park in a darkness shortened, I should say, extra inning affair, which sounds like an oxymoron, but at Lowell Park it happens more often than you'd think. The 0-2 in the dirt. Did he go? Yes, he did, says first base umpire Dan Boomhauer, and the side is retired. Back-to-back Ks for Bryce Jarvis, and the Gatemen strand 2, but they do get one on the Sahid Valenzuela solo shot. We go to the top of the fifth inning here from Spillane Field. 7-1 Gatemen on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Entering the 5th inning, the Gatemen do lead it 7-1. Sahid Valenzuela provides the power out of the 2 spot, sends a fly ball over the right center field wall at Spillane to make it 7-1 Wareham. Cotuit trying everything they can to try to get back into this one. They struck first at the top of the 1st on a pair of doubles by Will Robertson and Brady Smith with a Thomas Dillard strikeout sandwiched in between the two. But since then, Will Proctor has been all business. He's stranded 3 runners on base. He has walked just 1 man, struck out 2, and let up 5 hits today. The 1-0, Proctor from the windup, that one low, 2-0 to the 9-hole hitter, Adam Oviedo, a TCU Horned Frog. We were talking about it before the game, 6 through 9. A nice all-Texan lineup for Cotuit. Texas, TCU, Reynolds, Ellis, Humphreys, and Oviedo. The bottom part of the order for Cotuit. That one inside, jumped out of the way of that one, did Oviedo, 3-0. I want to get me over fastball, does just that, 3-1. Coming set from the windup, Proctor deals. Swinging a chop, ooh, got it off his leg. Oviedo limping around on that one as he chopped it down, bounced into what I think is his shin, maybe his thigh. We don't know, but obviously in a little bit of pain. Looks like he'll be okay, though. It happens more often than you'd think. And now, actually, just as I say that, a trainer going out to check on Oviedo. Oviedo with a slight nod, just kind of saying, yeah, just give me a sec, let me walk this off. Grimacing, but doesn't look like it's anything too serious. But he is motioning down to his left shin. Oviedo, like I said, the TCU Horned Frog, batting .207 on the year. Catcher Zach Humphreys, his teammate. Gonna take a couple practice swings, see how it feels putting weight on that left shin ankle area. Hitless in his last couple of games, but has been an everyday shortstop for the Kettleers, 22 games for him. Has a pair of home runs, so for that .211 batting average, that .404 slugging percentage, not too shabby, .701 OPS on the year. Just finished up his freshman year at TCU. Batted .228 there, but did have 4 stolen bases. Only 6 of his 46 hits were of the extra base variety at TCU this year, but 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs, 9 RBIs as well for the rising sophomore. Those numbers this year on the Cape, to clarify. Base is empty, no one on, that one low, so Oviedo reaches base via the walk. Second one of the day just for Will Proctor. But now 3 straight innings that the Kettleers have gotten the leadoff man aboard and stranded him. In the first inning, Peyton Burdick flew out to lead things off. That was the only inning that they scored. And now the aforementioned Burdick stepping in. Breaking ball just catches the upper outside part of the strike zone to the righty Burdick, 0-1. And a guy we don't see in the lineup today is Zach Bierman. He's the Cape leader in strikeouts. That one up and in, 1-1. Batted in the leadoff spot, usually a power guy. Went 0 for 4 with only 1 strikeout, though. But he is batting .274 despite all the strikeouts. But like we said, not in the lineup today. He played first base for, he sometimes plays first base. Was in the DH spot, in the leadoff spot yesterday. 1-1 breaking ball drops in there, really sharp curve out of the hand of Will Proctor. But if he would have been at first base, where, like I said, he sometimes plays for Cotuit, and Kate Cavalli would have been at first, the 2 first basemen would have been for Cotuit and Wareham, the Cape League leader in strikeouts and the country's leader in strikeouts at the plate. That one shot third base side. Parks tried to glove it, but it bounced out of his glove. Everyone reaches safely. Oviedo moves up to second, and over to first is Peyton Burdick. See what they score that as. I imagine an error, as Parks, it was a tough play, but that's one that usually is made. Shenton, usually the everyday third baseman, but as he's transitioned into more of a DH role, Parks and Shenton switch off third base DH, but Parks pretty sure-handed over there at third. Like I said, I imagine they score that an error, but we will wait for the official ruling. That's a single so far. Sometimes those are retroactively shifted. That one chopped off what looked like the mask of Drew Millis behind the dish. 0-1 to Will Robertson. He's 2 for 2 today.
And it is a hit. It will stay a hit.
Wareham originally with 3 errors in yesterday's game versus the Kettleers, but 2 of those got overturned. 2 hits. That one on the ground through the right side and into right field. A base hit. Holding up at third base, is Adam Oviedo, so bases loaded, back-to-back singles for the Kets. Now bases loaded, 1 out. Will Proctor in a little bit of trouble here as Thomas Dillard, he steps up to the plate. The Ole Miss product, 0 for 2, bouncing into a double play and a struck out. 2 of the least productive at-bats he could possibly manage, but he has some pop in his bat, batting .247 on the year. Proctor needs to be careful here. Swing and a miss. Good first pitch breaking ball from Proctor. He kept it down. Got a whiff on it. 0-1. Dillard 3 big flies on the year. The 0-1, he chops it foul. 0-2. I think that was an example of him trying to do a little too much with a little... To be honest, I'm not sure if it was a change piece or a breaking ball, but it went low and away to the lefty Dillard. It was a little out in front of it, tried to yank it over to his pull side, the right side. But could not manage it, instead rolled over it and chopped it foul down the first base side. So he's facing 0-2. Millis sets up low. The pitch. Actually missed up with it, just barely. Steven Durant's behind the plate says ball high. And so 1-2 now to Thomas Dillard. Dillard riding a 6-game hit streak. 1-2, chopped it off his hip. 1-2 again. Dillard 3rd place in the college home run derby, where Parker Phillips also participated out of Austin Peay, but his Cape League season cut short after a bad bone bruise on his hand as he was hit by a pitch about a week ago. 1-2 again to Dillard. Breaking ball rung him up on the outside corner. He got him on strikes. 3rd of the day for Will Proctor. And what a big strikeout for the Georgia product.
That's gigantic. Your first out of the inning comes with a strikeout, and that's probably your best case scenario here, because now with the bases loaded, you got a double play in order that could end the inning. And with a guy like Will Proctor on the mound who's got breaking ball and soft stuff as his go-to pitch in a lot of situations, that's a recipe for success if you're trying to induce a ground ball.
First pitch misses outside to the hot-hitting Brady Smith. 1-for-1 RBI double back in the first. And a walk in the third. Bases still loaded, 1 away. That double play, like you mentioned, JD, looking pretty darn good now for the Gatemen. 1-0, swing and a miss. My goodness, nasty pitch from Proctor. Turns Smith around 180 degrees, 1-1. Steps back into the box. Waves a shiny black bat once. Sets it over his right shoulder. The 1-1. Swinging a chopper left side. This could be 2. Parks will go home with it, get the force there, and over to first. Not in time, or actually not even attempted, but a 5-2 put out Means that the lead runner is eliminated. Bases still loaded. 2 down for Michael Tolia.
It's a great play from Pavin Parks. His momentum is bringing him in, and instead of trying to turn 2, which you probably wouldn't have had, cuts down the lead. Runner keeps it at a 7-1 lead. Heads up play from a guy that's not playing third base, as you talked about, every day, Enrique.
Pavin Parks with a heads up play. The bases are still loaded, but another big out recorded. But Michael Tolia is a guy who will not go down without a fight. Shot a couple to the right side so far today, but he's 0 for 2. First pitch to him, drops in there, strike 1. Peyton Burdick moves up to third. Will Robertson stays at second, and Brady Smith at first base. Adam Oviedo, the Kettleer that was gunned down at the plate. Infield back, getting maximum range with 2 down. 0-1, got him out low and outside, about knee level. 0-2.
This is one of the hottest hitters in the Cape League, along with Isaac Collins, and he's got a lot of power. This game could change with one swing of the bat from Tolia. Big pitch coming up from Will Proctor. I'd like to see him waste one away here to Tolia. Try to make him chase if he can.
We'll see what he does. 0-2, he is in the driver's seat. The pitch in the dirt indeed, did waste it, but good job by Millis to keep it in front of him. 1-2. Didn't go away, instead dropped that one about 2 or 3 feet in front of home plate. 1-2, gonna have to be a little more careful here. Proctor twirling the baseball in his right hand, now puts it in a tan glove. Holds it waist high, the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a tip into the glove of Millis. He got him on strikes. 2 big strikeouts in the inning for Will Proctor, and the side is retired. Cotuit leaves them loaded. Gatemen still lead it by 6. Halfway through this one, 7-1 at Spillane on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field, bottom of the 5th. Halfway through this one, it has been all Gatemen, 7-1, as Will Proctor, in what might have been his last inning as the pitch count climbed to almost 80, a huge bases-loaded strikeout. Got out of one jam after another today, and that one probably the biggest one. Did surrender 7 hits, but masterful as he only let up 1 earned run. Like I said, not officially done yet, but I would imagine that was his last batter he saw. New arm for Cotuit, though. It's Matthew Gauthier out of North Carolina State, ballooning 12.7 ERA this year on the Cape, as the appearances have not been kind to him. But he's here with in a low lever situation as his team trails it by 6. 2-1 now to the catcher, Drew Millis. It'll be Millis, Hunter, and Collins. 8-9-1 for Wareham here in the bottom of the 5th. The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Good pitch. It's a great pitch from Gauthier. Got Drew Millis to chase. Down in the zone. And those are the best kinds of pitches. Down in the zone and out of the zone. Because even if the hitter's going to make contact, it's going to be weak or it's going to be fouled off.
That one dribbled up the middle. Coming over on Smith. Sideways throw. Got him.
The new Kettleers pitcher is number 29, Matthew.
And my apologies. There was a defensive substitution that I did not catch. Luckily, my broadcast partner, J.D. Rachi, did. That's Corey Wood over at second. Smith's day is done.
The center fielder, number 51,
My apologies.
from Purdue.
He's down behind the plate. So move from second over to the plate. And Corey Wood in for Humphreys. So Humphreys' day is done. Indeed. Now Skylar Hunter, the batter, is going to dribble one weakly. Foul, they're going to say. Got off some part of Skylar Hunter's body. 1-1. That one right back at the pitcher, Gauthier. Easy underhanded flip for him, but Skylar Hunter legging it out all the way. You love to see that, even on what's almost a guaranteed out. He hustled, but Gauthier did not let it get into his head. 1-3 put out for those of you keeping score at home. And with 2 away and the bases empty, here's Isaac Collins batting for the 4th time already today. He is 0 for 2, but has walked and scored today. Takes a deep, deep breath and steps into the left-handed batter's box. Switch hitter out of Creighton, playing right field today for the Gatemen. Takes ball 1 inside. That one shot right into the glove of Ryan Reynolds. Isaac Collins put an absolute charge into that one, but denied at the hot corner. Tosses his helmet into the dugout, a little frustrated, but the Gatemen do go 1-2-3. On to the top of the 6th we go, still 7-1 Wareham on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Wareham. My name is Enrique Demore. To my right, JD Rachi. Happy to be bringing you this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball from Spillane Field. You're listening to it wherever, whyever, and whenever you are, but we're grateful that you are doing so. 7-1 Wareham here on Red Shirt Fridays. It has been all Wareham really from start to finish. Starter Anthony Veneziano did not have a great day on the hill. Let up 4 earned runs in just a third of an inning of work. Wareham exploded for 4 runs in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the fourth. That is where we stand right now. Saheed Valenzuela with his second home run of the day. And Isaac Collins, a statistically quiet day at the plate, but was robbed of extra bases. He sent a missile into the glove of Cotuit third baseman Ryan Reynolds. But right now, it is Ryan Reynolds, the aforementioned third baseman for Cotuit, who will start things off offensively for them. 6, 7, 8, Reynolds, Ellis, and Humphreys set to go. 2 hits between these 3 gentlemen. One of them for this young man at the plate, Ryan Reynolds. First pitch, swing and a miss. On the hill as Will Proctor's day is done. It's Jared Horne, the junior right-hander out of Cal. Long relief guy for the Gatemen. He's been better as of late. He was up and down as that one is dribbled foul into the Cotuit dugout and actually bounces out and into the field of play, but still just 0-2. Defensive substitution as well for the Gatemen. Cade Cavalli's day is done. Luke Roscom in at first base. You know, Roscom has primarily played catcher this year for Wareham. He was a corner infielder by trade at Nebraska. The 0-2, breaking ball, got him at the knees. Jared Horne, you bad man, you on 3 straight pitches, sets down Ryan Reynolds. First strikeout of the day for him. That one brought to you by Langek, Safaris, and Bullard, of course. 1 away, base is empty for Duke Ellison. We've talked about how Horne, even though he has been up and down a little bit this year, when that breaking ball is on and he leaves it down, it is one of his best pitch. It's his best pitch, and it's truly electrifying to see.
His breaking ball is absolutely filthy. And that's, we talked about how Will Proctor's key is locating the fastball. The breaking ball is Jared Horne's key. The fastball location and control is consistently there for him. It's just making sure he doesn't leave breaking balls up. That has been the Achilles heel of him this season when he has gone wrong, but he's been much better of late, and that's because that breaking ball has been so nasty.
Breaking ball drops in there, 0-2. Like you said, JD, it's location, location, location. Playing that really well today as Horne. Miller sets up low and away, 0-2. Fastball swing and a miss, back-to-back Ks for Jared Horne. Look at this kid go. Brought to you by Langek, Safaris, and Bullard, as always, the official strikeout sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen. 2 up, 2 down. Jared Horne showing no mercy to the bottom of the Cotuit lineup. And here comes Corey Wood. That one fired straight back, 0-1. Good to see Horne looking a little more comfortable out there. Settled in very nicely after what I mentioned, a rocky start to the year. Has turned into a really reliable bullpen piece. And he's got a 3rd straight hitter, down 0-2. Not to jinx it, but we could see an immaculate inning here. The 0-2. That one shot foul, ruins the immaculate inning, unfortunately, but still dominant, obviously, as they're that is a feat that you don't see often at all. It is one of the rare things in baseball, the perfect game, the 4-homer game in the immaculate inning is sort of a trifecta of baseball's near impossible milestones. The 0-2 in the dirt, 1-2. Corey Wood out of Coastal Carolina, teammates with Zach Bierman, who we talked about earlier on in the day. Bierman is transferred there from Polk State. 1-2, swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. Swung right through the breaking ball, and Jared Horne comes in and strikes out the side in the 6th inning. To the bottom half of the frame we go, but not before we get to Ian Vicero, who's going to give us a look around the Cape League. Ian, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Henrique. Time for the second Cape League update of the night. One game's about to finish up, and that is the game in Bourne. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead that one 5-2. Zach Cohn is in line for the win as he's thrown 5 innings, allowing 2 runs and striking out 5. To pace the offense for the Harbor Hawks, Pedro Pages has a 2-run homer, and Tommy Jew also has a solo shot. Over in Falmouth, YD still leads 4-2. That game is over in the bottom of the 7th. Over in Harwich, the Mariners and Whitecaps tied 1-1, bottom of the 6th. And the last Cape League game of the night, the Chatham Anglers are winning 3-0 over the Orleans Firebirds in the top of the 6th. That's our last Cape League update of the night. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Ian. A lot of action going on. The Gatemen look well in line for a win today. They lead it by 6. Matthew Gauthier of NC State still out there for the Cotuit Kettleers. He will face 2-3-4, Sahid Valenzuela, Austin Shenton, and Jeremy Idens. Idens 1 for 3 on the day, Shenton 3 for 3, and Sahid Valenzuela 3 for 3. This 2-3-4 has been absolutely devastating for Wareham today.
This is the kind of production we need to see from the top and starting the middle part of that lineup. Sahid Valenzuela needed to break out of a slump. Austin Shenton needed to do the same. Both of them each have 3 hits. Valenzuela has a home run, 2 RBIs for him, an RBI for Austin Shenton. It has been fantastic out of this part of the order for the Gatemen. They'll try to do the same thing against Gautier.
A combined 7 for 9 with 4 RBIs and 6 runs scored. How do you like that? Man, oh man. Valenzuela takes ball 1 outside. He homered in his last plate appearance. Strike on the outside corner, 1-2. Valenzuela and Shenton both 3 for 3 today. They've both broken out of slumps in big ways. 3 RBIs between the 2 of them as well. Valenzuela over the 350 mark again, and Shenton over that blessed 400 mark. I went in the dirt, 2-2. Jared Horne solid in his first inning of relief. Wareham trying to add to this lead. Got a piece of that one, 2-2. The final line on Will Proctor, 5 innings of work, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for the Georgia Bulldog. 4 strikeouts in 5 innings, a shade over the clip we expect to see them from Proctor. What a huge 5th inning he had. Now in the dirt. 3-2, the count goes full to Sahid Valenzuela out of Cal State Fullerton. Payoff pitch outside, he lost him. Sahid Valenzuela works a fantastic at-bat, and he is aboard here to start off the 6th inning. Austin Shenton is the batter.
Just continue to get on base. Every time he's come to the plate, he's got on base. Today, 3 for 3 with the walk now. Austin Shenton also 3 for 3. See if he can get on for the 4th time. This Gateman offense is clicking. They haven't scored since the 4th inning, although that was only 2 innings ago. He only scored one run in that inning. That was on the Sahid Valenzuela home run. But this offense is clicking. It's scoring runs, and it is beating up on this Cotuit pitching staff. And they're going to go with the shift once again here against Austin Shenton.
And you see over at third, Ryan Reynolds position in the 2nd iteration of the shift where he was, hugging the line at third, as Austin Shenton saw the shift, and he saw over there at third, or really between 2nd and 3rd, playing close to the outfield grass, was Ryan Reynolds. So he says, okay, I'm going to drop one down the 3rd baseline, and he did. It was beautiful. Strike 2, though, at the knees here. Shenton behind in the count. And now with 2 strikes, Reynolds moves over to that aforementioned spot where he was in the first at-bat. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. First strikeout of the day for Mr. Gautier out of North Carolina State. And it comes in the 6th inning. Jeremy Idens is the batter with 1 on and 1 out.
Can't win them all. 3 for 4 is not a bad stat line with an RBI on the day. So I think Austin Shenton will take this bounce-back day after the tough stretch for him over the last few.
It's not even over for the Gatemen. That one catches the outside corner. Jeremy Idens down quickly, 0-1. Idens 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Also an RBI as he drove in Austin Shenton. That one chopped weakly over to third. Reynolds going to go to second for 1 and out of the bare hand of Corey Wood. As it pops out, but they're going to rule it was on the transfer, so a 5-4 fielder's choice makes that out number 2. Valenzuela eliminated from the base paths. Jeremy Idens takes his place at first. And with 2 away, it is Pavin Parks.
Third baseman, number 16, Pavin Parks from Kent State.
Parks 1 for 2. 2 RBI double back in the second. To score Sahid Valenzuela and Austin Shenton has also walked and grounded out today. Gautier in this low leverage situation. We talked about that 12.7 ERA he came into the day with. Obviously not ideal. But he really has been attacking these Wareham hitters. He's been working the tempo really well in his favor. Well, he did allow the walk to Valenzuela. Got a strike out of a very dangerous Austin Shenton. He might get the third out right here. That one lifted into left field, giving chase on it. And a diving catch. He didn't get it. That's a fair ball. It drops. Peyton Burdick made a heck of an effort, but around from first into third, or around third to score is Jeremy Idens. And with an RBI double is Pavin Parks. He drives in his 3rd run of the day. What a day for the Kent State Golden Flash.
Something you need to see from him as well. He started going into a bit of a slump too for the Gatemen. And a great effort by Peyton Burdick, but couldn't come up with it. This offense, like I said, just clicking on all cylinders right now.
They are humming indeed. We'll see Luke Roscom, who took Cade Cavalli's spot in the field.
And you just saw it right there. So close from Peyton Burdick, just out of the reach of him. An absolutely fantastic attempt. And not only was he close to making that catch, it was also pretty close to going foul. So right there, Pavin Parks just made the absolute perfect hit. And now Mike Roberts, the head coach of the Cotuit Kettleers, not happy with the home plate umpire, Steve Durant. He is barking at him. Ooh. This is Chad Gassman-esque.
He is in his face. He is pointing at him.
Hands are behind the back. You know that's real. Well, you know it's real when the hands go behind the back and you start leaning forward into somebody else's face.
Well, the hands were in his face not too long ago, and now the entire umpiring crew converging. They're just going to kind of sit there and take it. I think only the length of time with which Roberts yells at the umpiring crew will determine whether he gets tossed or not. Still barking.
Fans here at Spillane not too happy either.
No, we can hear them through our headsets. Yeah, they're not too stoked.
I heard, quote, growing old here. So that was funny. I like that. If we pick up any other snippets, we'll let you know. Cry Me a River was just uttered. That's a good one.
Pointing now to the ground at what is not his field. This is Spillane Field, not Lowell
Park.
Ooh,
now boos coming out from the dugout. Really not sure what the dispute was here.
Honestly, me neither.
And now the umpires are talking something over. I mean, that would be my only guess. Taking a look at it here, sure looks fair to me. If we get another look, it definitely looks fair in my eyes.
And even if there's any sort of argument as to whether Burdick made contact with it, I mean, if you push a ball foul, it is still fair. Because you pushed it.
I'm like 99.9% sure that was a fair ball.
No, I
just
hear
from
you.
looking at the replay.
I hear you. Like you said, it's just, what on earth could he be arguing about? We don't know.
I would assume the foul fair thing is what he's arguing about. I can't.
That's it.
Wouldn't understand what else it would be, but I don't know. Look fair to me.
Down in the dirt to Luke Roscom, getting his first plate appearance of the day, playing first base. Nebraska Cornhusker. He's got a man in scoring position to work with 2 down. That's Pavin Parks. The 1-0 to the left-handed Roscom. Strike at the knees, 1-1. Two away, infield straight up for Cotuit. They trail by 7 at the home park of the Wareham Gatemen. And that one catches the outside corner as well, 1-2. Luke Roscom not too sure about it, but he will try to protect with 2 and extend the inning. The 1-2 in the dirt. Holding on to it is the new catcher, Brady Smith. Behind the dish, 2-2. Holds up at second, does Pavin Parks. Thought about it for a bit. And now that score at Bourne, final 5-2 Hyannis. So with a win today, the Gatemen keep a 3-point lead. Should this game miraculously turn around in Cotuit's favor, they'll still have a 1-point lead in the West. Now into the dirt, and that one's going to get away from Smith. He's going to trot back to the backstop to make sure he doesn't reach home, because Parks in there at third easily on the wild pitch. And Luke Roscom staring a full count in the face, but a 9-1 lead just 90 feet away. Infield back for Cotuit, but Reynolds playing even with the bag at third. The payoff pitch. Outside, he lost him. Roscom works a good at bat, and he is aboard. Runners at the corners, 2 away for Ryan Kreidler. Smith going out there and communicating the signs to his infielders. Luke Roscom not a base-stealing threat really, but that's the thing about these runners at the corner situations. If Roscom takes off for second, it's more applicable with less than 2 outs as the strike comes in at the knees to Kreidler. But if there are less than 2 outs, even with Roscom, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if he were to shoot down to second, maybe bait a bad throw from Smith, who's just getting used to things, a mid-game substitution at catcher, maybe try to get Pavin Parks to score from third. That one catches the same area of the plate and same result, 0-2. With those bright blue batting gloves, I love that, repping his UCLA Bruins. Got an elbow protector, and he calls time. Steve Durant's behind the plate, grants it to him. Got the earful of the century from Roberts just a minute ago, the 0-2. That one chopped weakly left side. Over to second goes Oviedo, and the side is retired. A 6-4 fielder's choice puts it away for Cotuit, but the Gatemen do get one more. Jeremy Idens reaches, and Pavin Parks drives him home. 8-1 Gatemen. To the top of the 7th we go here from Spillane Field on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Enrique DeMore and JD Rocci bringing you the action from Spillane Field. Happy to have you here with us wherever, whyever, and whenever you are tuning in. 8-1 Wareham. As Jared Horne gets set to go again for a second inning of work. He'll face Adam Oviedo, Peyton Burdick, and Will Robertson. 9-1-2. Here in the top of the seventh inning, excuse me. And Horne had the inning of his life. His last frame. Delivers a hard fastball, just misses low, 1-0 to Oviedo. Was one strike away from an immaculate inning, which for those of you that don't know, that's when you strike 3 guys out on 3 straight pitches. 1-0. Caught the outside corner. You see that strike zone extending a little bit, especially low. Steve Durant's behind the plate, but he's been consistent with it. The 1-1. Shot foul straight back. And Horne really bringing it with the fastball as well. We talked about it earlier. That breaking ball is absolutely nasty out of the right hand of the junior Cal Golden Bear. But the fastball is pretty darn good as well. And those two pitches work off each other. One is a setup pitch for the other, keeping hitters off balance. 1-2 from Horne. Low and away, 2-2. Oviedo 0 for 1. Walking a line out today. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. 4th K of the day for Horne. Over to first. Millis to Roscom to complete the strikeout. That one brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 4 straight struck out by Jared Horne. And 5 straight by Gateman pitching total if you count Will Proctor's 5th inning ending strikeout of Michael Tolia. Man, oh man, has this got to feel good for Horne. Give the bullpen a little bit of breathing room here, and it's just good to see more good, solid pieces out of the pen for Wareham.
Yeah, Jared Horne has really gotten so much better over the year. The first 2 outings of the season for Horne were, I don't want to call them disasters, but they really were just ugly, ugly outings. First at Chatham, 3 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned with 6 hits against him. That was on opening night. Came in relief of Joey Matulovic. Single now up the middle by the top of the order in Peyton Burdick. Not much you can do about that one. But since then, he's been much better. Orleans was also a tough outing. 10-4 loss to them. 2 1/3 innings, 4 runs, all earned, 7 hits. Since then, he's given up just 1 earned run in each of his last 3 appearances. The ERA is still at 6.27, but that's a little bit skewed. Considering it was at 11.81 after that Orleans outing, it has continued to trickle down ever so slightly. And if he can get out of this inning with unscathed and maybe go a couple more, the ERA could really start to take a turn. That's a good pitch to Will Robertson to get him started.
And like I said, he was bringing it with the fastball. And like you said, JD, not much you can do about that. Peyton Burdick hit it where it was pitched. He's 2 for 4 today. Got a fastball down the pipe, sending it right back into center field. Half-hearted pickoff attempt over to first to hold Burdick honest.
Now Will Robertson kind of replacing the production of Isaac Collins in terms of Creighton teammates today. Yeah. Will Robertson is 3 for 3. Collins is 0 for 3 with a walk, but Creighton Blue Jays showing out these last 2 days, these last couple of weeks, if you include the time where Collins was one of the top 5 or so hitters in the league.
The 1-1 to the other Creighton Blue Jay. And when chopped left side, this should do it. Coming over on a Kreidler over to second for 1. Gets the 6-4 put out to get out number 2. Burdick retired on the base pass. Robertson reaches. He moves to 3 for 4 on the day. He's aboard here with 2 down to Thomas Dillard. Dillard 0 for 3. Pair of strikeouts and has bounced into a double play. Has the Ole Miss running rebel.
Good play from Kreidler defensively.
Yeah.
Ball was moving away from him, also moving away from the first base bag, so he knew that his best play was going to be to second base. He had to twist his body, but still got off an excellent throw to Sahid Valenzuela.
And that one lifted in shallow left field. Kreidler swipes at it but can't get it. Tough one for either one of them to make. Him and Jeremy Idens, the UCLA Bruins, converging on it, but not able to grab it. Can of corn, base hit for Thomas Dillard. And over to second goes Will Robertson. 2 on, 2 out for Brady Smith.
This isn't necessarily the guy you want coming to the plate in Smith. He's got an RBI double today, but since then he's walked and reached on a fielder's choice. So if you're Jared Horne, this is a pretty big at-bat here. You can stem this little rally here for Cotuit. You'll make yourself look great heading into the 8th.
First pitch to Smith. Breaking ball misses outside. I think, like you said, JD, Horne going 4 innings would be ideal. And not out of the realm of possibility for them to stretch him, even if he runs into a little bit of trouble in this frame, as the Gatemen are up by 7. Fastball just low. Millis tried to frame it, but Durant's behind the plate, not buying it. The 2-0 to Smith. Swinging a tip into the glove of Millis. Heck of a pitch on the outside corner. Good hard fastball. Just got away enough from Smith. And Horne right back into it, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Outside. Heck of a pitch, but not the result he wanted. 3-1. Horne checks the runner. Now goes forward with the 3-1. Got him on the knees. Fastball froze Brady Smith. Didn't know what to do with it, and now 1 strike away from getting out of the inning is Jared Horne. He's got 4 strikeouts already to get a 5th in 2 frames. And like you said, JD, gets some momentum heading into the 8th inning. By far the best case scenario for Horne. But before he tries to do just that, he will call a meeting real quick. Him and his catcher, Millis. Horne talks out of the glove. Millis walks him back to the mound and trots back behind the plate. We're just about ready to play some baseball here at Spillane. 8-1 Gatemen. Top of the 7th. 2 on for Cotuit, though. Robertson at second. Dillard at first for Brady Smith. 1 for 2. That RBI double. A bright spot on his offensive stat line today. Horne checks the runner, goes forward. The payoff pitch. Swinging a blooper foul. We'll do it again. Count remains full. Time call back in by Durant. 2 on, 2 out. Cotuit trying to claw back into this one late. The 3-2 pitch. Swinging a missile foul straight back. We'll do it again. Horne trying to solidify his place at the top of the bullpen. He's one of the go-to guys along with Easton Lucas. Time is called. Try to do so in front of over 1,000 fans here today. 1,103. The official attendance at Spillane Field. I think it's the highest we've seen it, if not one of the higher numbers. 3-2 pitch, runner's off on it, and it's in the dirt. That'll load the bases. Running into a little bit of trouble is Jared Horne. As Michael Tolia steps up to the plate, boy, oh boy, what a critical spot for Horne.
Again, this is the second time that Tolia has come to the plate with the bases loaded. Struck out last time. If Horne can get him to do the same thing here, that would be huge for the Gatemen momentum going into their half of the 7th and into the 8th if Horne comes back to the mound. And if you're Tolia, with the kind of power you have, one swing of the bat can put this game within just a couple of runs. Would make it a 3-run game if he could hit one out.
And he's done that a lot as of late, but he takes strike 1 at the knees. Infield straight back for Wareham, including the corners. The 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Oh, it got off Millis's knee. No, it got off Tolia's knee. Fire up the merry-go-round. The maroon jerseys move up a bag and make that 8-2 in favor of the Gatemen. Millis dove over to it, and it took a funky hop, and I initially thought it was off of Millis as he was slow to get up, but it did in fact hit Tolia. So Robertson scores, Dillard to third, Smith to second. So a productive at-bat with the bases loaded, JD, but still 2 down. They still trail by 6, and Ryan Reynolds is the batter. He is 1 for 3 today, though. Singled back in the second inning. Takes a big rip and a miss at that one, though. 0-1. You do get an RBI for that.
You do.
That's pretty cool.
Walks hit by pitches, fielder's choices even.
Groundouts.
Just
not double plays.
Not double plays. That is, you do not get an RBI for a run scored when you hit into a double play. Which is the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like we said, strikeouts and double plays probably 2 of the least productive plate appearances you could have. So it feels weird to award someone with something like that, a statistical boon on something that really just shouldn't have come off your bat.
Yeah, and it's because of the fact that you're producing 2 outs while only scoring 1, so not great.
0-1 chop to Valenzuela, takes it on 2 high hops over to first, rifles it over there for out number 3. Cotuit does leave them loaded, but they get 1. They trail it now 8-2. Stretch time here at Spillane Field. But before we send it to a break of any sort, or you get a break from our voices real quick, it is going to be our Mary Orders as she is down near the dugout with Lyle Lockhart Jr., first baseman and DH, and two-way guy for Wareham. Got a day off today, but what an appearance for him. Or against Chatham, I should say, his longest of the year. Has bounced back. Good left-handed arm out of the pen for Wareham. Would imagine if he continues his success, he will be an important piece of the pen going forward.
All right. 3, 2.
Mary, what do you got for us?
It's not worth it at this point, though.
Welcome back to Spillane Field.
A little bit of a technical difficulty there.
Yeah. Apologies on that front. We'll have a lot more from Lyle to whet your appetite going forward, no doubt. He's trying to break into a role as a power hitter, as when he is in the lineup for 5. We've seen him with some power. He hit a home run against YD in that doubleheader at Red Wilson Field. First and last time the Gatemen head over there, though. Next time those two teams played, it'll be in Hartford at Dunkin' Donuts Park in a little over a week. That should be fun. Last time those two teams will meet, though. Out of division, you play 2 home, 2 away. In division, you play 3 home, 3 away. The math all checks out. 24 games in division, 20 out for that 44-game Cape League schedule. Time called by Drew Millis. 1-0. Bases empty. Matthew Gauthier still out there. Taps that one foul. 1-1. Looks like it might have gotten a piece of Smith. He's a little slow to get up, so Steven Durant's will walk a new baseball out to Gauthier. Trainer out there to take a look at Smith. Post stretch time here at Spillane in the 7th inning stretch. Of course, brought to you by Wareham Family Dental. Dental care is easy with Dr. Al-Azizi. Smith motioning towards his left knee, left lower leg. You can tell he's in pain. He's waving his arms and kind of hobbling around, not putting a ton of weight on that left leg, but the trainer will retreat. And we are ready to play baseball again. First man to bat in the inning, Drew Millis, takes strike 2 on the outside corner. Millis 0 for 2, but did walk in a run back in the first inning. Gateman had the bases loaded as he takes ball 2 outside. Drove in Jeremy Idens of UCLA for the 4th Gateman run of the day. And since then, and really for a little bit before then even, it has been all Gateman. That one lifted on a missile into left field. Foul ball. Man, oh man. That would have been extra bases easy for Millis. That was driven on a rocket ship out into the left field corner, but nothing doing, just a loud, long strike at the end of the day. The 2-2 in the dirt, 3-2. Millis able to work the count pretty nicely here.
Good at bat here from Drew Millis. After starting off red hot in the first 2 innings, 7 hits in the first 2 innings for the Gatemen, just 3 in the last 4. Work a good at bat against the guy that's gone well so far in Gautier.
That one rings up Millis though. Swing and a miss on that one. Millis visibly frustrated with himself. Second strikeout of the day for Gautier, and with 1 out and the bases empty, here comes Skylar Hunter searching for his first hit of the day. That one dribbled weakly over to the right side. Corey Wood, easy pickings for him, a 4-3 putout. Retires Skylar Hunter, swung at the first pitch he saw, didn't get much of it. Now Isaac Collins will bat with 2 on and nobody out. Excuse me, the reverse of that. 2 out, nobody on, my apologies.
I'd like to see Isaac Collins get back in the on-base column, I guess you could call it. Like to see him back on the base paths. Came into this game so hot, 0 for 3 today, although he walked and scored a run in his first at-bat of the first inning. Came to the plate twice in that 4-run first for the Gatemen.
Trying to get him going again, takes ball 1 outside, 1-0 to the Creighton Blue Jay. The 1-0 in the dirt, pinball around between the legs of both Steven Durant's behind the plate and Brady Smith, the catcher. 2-0, Collins in a good hitter's count to rebound here, like JD said, 0 for 3, but did walk and score in the first. The 2-0. Breaking ball doesn't do much breaking, 3-0. Gatemen in those white pants with the black piping down the sides, but the Friday home game reds. Cotuit counters with their maroons. Cotuit in black with white outlines across the front and those fresh pinstripe pants. That one strike 1 at the knees. Wareham home or away, whatever uniform combination they decide to do, they do have the blue batting helmets with the red W on the front. Those, of course, brought to the Gatemen organization by Gateway Tavern. They sponsor the purchase of the helmets this year. Collins another good hitter's count. See if he can notch his first hit of the day. Base is empty, 2 down. The pitch. That one lifted high and deep, but foul down the left field line. Just got under it and just laid on it. Could have been trouble. Peyton Burdick certainly thought so. He gave chase, but just a loud, long strike. 1 away from getting out of the inning is Gautier. The pitch, chopped weakly right side. This could do it. Wood ranges over, a weak throw, got him. Nice play by Corey Wood at second base. Kind of lobbed it over to his first baseman, Michael Tolia, but it did the job. Another 4-3 putout takes care of the Gatemen in the 7th. To the top of the 8th we go, 8-2 Gatemen on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Spillane. 8-2 Gatemen is your score over the Cotuit Kettleers. These two teams tied yesterday at Lowell Park. First draw of the season for Wareham puts them at 16-10-1 on the year. 9-4 home record for Wareham, though, trying to push it to 10 wins at home. They have been really darn good at Spillane Field. Believe it or not, 1-3 in their last 4 contests here. They were 8-1 at one point, just could not be touched at home. Upstairs, 1-0. The number 7 hitter, Duke Ellis, out of Texas. Corey Wood waits on deck, ready for his second at-bat. Gatemen left them loaded in the 7th, same as they did in the 5th. Swing and a miss, 1-1. 10 total men left on base for the Kettleers. In danger of dropping below 500 with a loss today would push them to 12-13-2. Luckily for them, though, Bourne and Falmouth both losers today. Swing and a miss on the high fastball. Really good pitch sequence here from Horne, 1-2. Wide deep dispatched Falmouth, tomorrow's destination for the Gatemen. For the first time at Falmouth since day 4 of the season, back on June 15th, a 7-4 victory in that one. 1-2, up and away, 2-2. And Hyannis winners over Bourne 5-2. Brewster and Harwich still knotted at 1 at White House Field. Chatham ahead of Orleans 4-0. 2-2, thought about it. That one broke low and into the left-hander, Duke Ellis. That'll fill up the count. Horne in his 3rd inning of work here. That one lifted straight back. We'll do it again. Count remains full. Payoff pitch again. Fouled off again. Ellis putting together a good at-bat.
You can keep that foul ball, courtesy of attorney Glenn Hannington. And it's started.
Next destination for Cotuit, they face the Harbor Hawks at McKeon Park for the final time. And that one upstairs. Another pitch or another walk there from Jared Horne. Does have a walk and has hit a batter today. And he missed upstairs, which unfortunately is kind of characteristic when Horne struggles.
Yeah, it's the breaking ball that misses up a lot for Jared Horne. It was really just excellent through the first 2 innings. Or through the first inning and through the first batter or so of his 2nd inning of work. You mentioned almost the immaculate inning in his 1st inning of work. And now he's just got to settle in here. I know it's the first guy. It's another walk. He's allowed 5 base runners in the last 2 innings, but if you're Jared Horne, you've got to settle in and say, listen, I know I'm a good pitcher. I've been through this part of the lineup and had success against them before. Let's do it again.
Duke Ellis at first, and very quickly, like you said, JD, bounces back 2 good pitches low and away to the left-handed hitting Corey Wood. A pickoff attempt over to first. Ellis back in there safely. That one way outside, waste pitch. Still in the driver's seat, though, is Horne, 1-2.
Went hard away there. Wouldn't be too surprised if he goes soft stuff in, a little breaking ball action to the left-handed batter, Corey Wood.
The 1-2. Went soft stuff down. I think he meant to do that away, maybe leave it a little higher. 2-2, though. And breaking ball does have a lot of dive to it from Horne. 1 on, nobody out. Top of the 8th inning from Spillane Field. 8-2, the Gatemen lead it. Whole lot of offense early. Not much since. 4 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the 6th. The 2-2. Breaking ball inside, count goes full.
I like that pitch from Jared Horne, and I like it a lot. He breaks it off a little bit earlier. Maybe throws the breaking ball, this is going to sound weird, a little bit harder, a little bit more sharp on the bite. Then he could have easily rung up Corey Woods.
Going to set up low and in again. Runner takes off. That one fouled off, so everyone will go back to their spots. Count remains full.
Smart for Cotuit to get Duke Ellis off. Ellis has excellent speed on the base paths, long legs, gets around easily, long strides. And you've got to start putting up runs soon. It's the 8th inning already. Jared Horne can get out of this with a 4-run lead. Say he gives up 2 at the worst possible case. It's still going to be tough for Cotuit to come back in the next inning.
Strike him out. Got him over the throw down to second, not in time as it was a little off to the left side of second base from our vantage point to the right side of Sahid Valenzuela, who was covering, but did ring him up looking. 5th of the day for Horne. Very nice pitch sequence there. Rung him up with a fastball at the knees. Duke Ellis does take second on that, though.
Attention, please. Pinch hitter for the Kettleers. Now batting number 14, Michael Salvatore.
And a pinch hitter.
Florida State.
From Florida State, it is Michael Salvatore. We saw him in and out of the lineup yesterday.
The 9-hole in this Cotuit lineup is an ever-revolving door.
It really is.
I think it's the conclusion we've come to. Yesterday, Adam Oviedo got the start. Then we saw Eric Jones taking at bat. Then we saw Corey Wood taking at bat in the 9-hole. Very odd day in that 9-hole, considering how Oviedo, I think, is in there for his defense to start the game. He's an excellent defensive shortstop. Really hasn't hit up to the caliber of what you might expect from a starting everyday shortstop on the Cape. But his his aptitude for defense has kept him in there. And then in the late innings, when you need a bat and defense becomes a little bit less important, that's why you see so much turnover in the 9-hole for Cotuit.
Good active managing by the Cotuit coaching staff. That one under the legs of Millis behind the dish. Takes a plunk off the bat stop. And over to third goes Duke Ellis. Cotuit still trailed by 6, though, 8-2. 1 on, 1 out. That one is Duke Ellis. He's at third, like I mentioned, and Michael Salvatore trying to drive him in here. With 1 out, that is a whole lot easier with a man at third. Infield back for Wareham, smartly willing to concede the run to get the second out. The 2-1 pitch. That one rifle foul down the first base line.
Now you got 2 strikes against Salvatore, and you might not even have to sacrifice the run to get the out here if you can strike him out.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, I think, would either be a strikeout or a bloop pop out to the shallow outfield that wouldn't let a speedy Duke Ellis tag up.
No, I hear you, but he gets him on the outside corner. Back-to-back looking strikeouts for Jared Horne. That one brought to you by Langek, Safaris, and Bullard, as they are all season. Michael Salvatore unsuccessful in his first plate appearance, and now with 2 outs and a man on third. Here's Peyton Burdick, batting below the Mendoza line like we talked about coming into today, but with a 2-for-4 performance over at 209.
Big spot for Horne. This will show what he's made of mentally on the mound.
Just misses with that one. Borderline pitch, but a good one from Horne. 1-0 to Burdick. I agree with you. If he can go the distance here, distance in air quotes, but a long quality outing for Horne, which has given up the 2 hits and the 1 earned run. That one on the outside corner. Similar pitch, different result. 1-1 to Burdick. Horne sets, holds it about shoulder high, takes a deep breath, kicks and fires. Breaking ball, wow. Tip that straight down for strike 2, but man, oh man, that had Burdick swinging out of his shoes.
It's nasty. It's absolutely filthy. Burdick lucky to make contact there, way out in front of a breaking ball. Maybe go fastball away here after the breaking ball in the inner half. I think you're looking for Burdick is looking for Horne to go breaking ball here. He's sitting breaking ball. So if you can fool him, go fastball outer half of the strike zone. I think Burdick would be easily behind that pitch if Horne can locate it well. We'll have to see though. Considering, I should say, although the out pitch for Horne is that breaking ball. So we could see either, but I'd like to see fastball away.
We'll see what we get here. Millis sets up low and away. The 1-2. Went with that fastball outside. Really good pitch on 1-2, just missed.
It's a great pitch.
Yeah.
That location looks similar to the first pitch of the second pitch of the at bat, the first strike of the AB, the outside fastball that was called a strike by the home plate umpire Steve Durant's. I think you look at that location again here on 2-2.
The 2-2 sets up in the same location, goes with a breaking ball and rings him up. My goodness. Jared Horne strikes out the side. 3 straight looking strikeouts to send the Kettleers back to the bench in the 8th inning. That one, of course, brought to you by Langex, Safaris, and Bullard. My, oh my, Jared Horne, best outing of the summer, bar none. The Gatemen bat in the bottom of the 8th with a 6-run lead, 8-2 on the Gatemen Baseball Network when we come back. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Enrique DeMore and JD Bracci bringing you the action from Wareham as the home team leads the Kettleers 8-2. 4th pitcher on the bump here for the Kettleers. It is Zane Collins. And the Gatemen haven't seen him since way back on June 14th, the first time and the most recent time besides today that the Kettleers traveled to Spillane Field. He was the starter in that one. 2 starts, 5 appearances total. And he was dominant in that one. 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 hits, no runs earned or otherwise in 5 innings of work. Wareham rattled off 4 runs in the innings afterwards to take that one 4-2. Ball misses 2-0 to Sahid Valenzuela. 2-3-4 set to go against Collins. Collins with 10 strikeouts in 13 innings, but has scattered 13 hits as well as given up 9 walks. A 6.75 ERA for the left-hander from Wright State. That one caught the zone, I guess. 2-1. In the dirt, that one clearly, those have sent up a little cloud of dirt behind home plate. 3-1. Valenzuela, Shenton, Idens. That one chopped left side, might be trouble. Off the glove and off the chest. Ryan Reynolds can't field it cleanly. Sahid Valenzuela aboard here for the now 5th time today. 3 for 3, 2 singles, a home run, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored, a walk. And depending on what this is scored at, could be a 4 for 4 day. Michael Salvatore moves to shortstop as he batted in Adam Oviedo's 9-hole spot, that revolving door like we talked about. So he's over at short, but it was Ryan Reynolds that misplayed that ball. Valenzuela over to first. Austin Shenton, 3 for 4 with a strikeout, but also 2 singles and a double, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. They are going to, in fact, rule that an error by Ryan Reynolds. So Valenzuela does move to 3 for 4 on the day, but obviously still a fantastic day for the second baseman out of Cal State Fullerton. That one a missile right under the glove of Michael Tolia, and he steps on first. Nothing you can do about that. Tough break for the Gatemen. The bases are emptied, 2 away. Out of nowhere for Jeremy Idens.
That's just an atom ball right at Tolia. Well hit ball from Shenton. I mean, there's really just nothing you can do about that.
Nope. Tough break. Idens will bat now. He sends a weak ground ball foul down the first base line over towards Matt Miller, first base coach. Gian Martellini takes a half-hearted jog down to grab it. Swing and a miss on that one, though. 0-2. The 0-2 to Idens. Swinging a high, towering fly ball, shallow right field. Going back on it, Tolia calls off his second baseman and his right fielder and makes the catch for out number 3. The Gatemen threatened but do not score. Austin Shenton robbed of extra bases. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Gatemen. They still lead at 8-2. To the top of the 9th we go. Last chance for Cotuit on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Welcome back to Spillane Field, top of the 9th. Last chance for the Kettleers. Jared Horne's day is done, but what a day it was. Whole bevy of strikeouts. Struck out the side in the 6th and the 8th. Got 1 in the 7th for a total of 7 on the day. What a day for him. The exact numbers here. Three innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 7. Count them, 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. Absolutely nasty. Now Cody Carroll in to wipe it up here and hopefully send the Gateman crowd home happy, barring a miracle from the Kettleers.
Cody Carroll's stuff has been good all season. We've seen him the last 2 outings be used as a attempted closer, which has been interesting. The last time he saw action was in that Falmouth game where the bullpen melted down and ended up giving the Falmouth Commodores a win after giving up 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning. That game, though, was just a 1-run ball game, so you'd hope that things wouldn't get that bad where things get tied up or even worse in this 6-run game against Cotuit. But it's been interesting to see because we've seen Cody Carroll really not as a closer. The first couple of outings of his career here on the Cape was much of a middle relief guy. Really went 4 innings at least in all of his outings, but he's got an electric slider, and that's what you want out of your closer is an electric out pitch. You think Mariano Rivera with the cutter. Cody Carroll's slider is one of the nastier ones I've seen, especially for a kid his age, just coming off his sophomore season at Southern Miss. So you could say that he has the stuff and the kind of velocity to be a closer.
He's got really good stuff, like you said, JD. Couple of tough outings for him, though, especially that Falmouth one. Highly doubt it'll get that hairy here, as, like you said, the Gatemen do lead it by 6, 0-1 to the right fielder, Will Robertson. Sends that one into shallow right field, actually into the infield. Luke Roscom comes over on it, an easy play for the Nebraska Cornhusker for out number 1. Now Thomas Dillard bats. He is 1 for 4, pair of strikeouts, and a single for him.
Yeah.
8-2 Gatemen. We're in the top of the 9th. First pitch, shot foul. It's the 0-1 in the dirt, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Upstairs, 2-1. Base is empty, 1 away. Top of the 9th here, 8-2 Gatemen, trying to send the home crowd home happy and soon. 2-1 pitch. Just low, 3-1. Now from the windup, the 3-1 pitch. Swinging a tip straight down. Oh my goodness, that got a piece of Drew Millis' hand. He is in a whole lot of pain. Oh man, you hate to see that. Actually, I don't think I got him in his hand. I think I got him right in the groin.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not the hand.
It's definitely not the hand.
I shouldn't be laughing because I'm sure he is in a load of pain, but definitely not the hand as he slammed it down. Don Snedden coming out to look things over with the athletic trainer now.
Oh boy, we are going to toss it to a quick break. A whole bevy of pain. We'll be right back on the Gatemen Baseball Network in the 9th. Welcome back to Spillane Field. New catcher behind the dish as Drew Millis, he's done for the day as he took a foul ball off the bat of Thomas Dillard on a full count offering. It bounced down and right back up into his crotch. Oof, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Not great. Not great. That's really the only way to describe something like that. He's in some pain.
In a ton of pain.
He's not. There's just no way around it. But Gian Martellini's into the game. 3-2 the count to Thomas Dillard, so the Gatemen are one strike away from out number 2 of the top of the 9th inning. They're up 6, so things could be worse for Drew Millis, I suppose. Not much worse, but worse nonetheless.
No, I think that's a fair assessment. Looking ahead, Gatemen, like I said, do travel to Falmouth tomorrow and over to McKeon Park to battle the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who took a 5-2 contest over the Bourne Braves at Doran Park, are the Cotuit Kettleers. Gatemen needed a win today, but Cotuit needed one even more. And again, barring a miracle, because it's never over till it's over, but the Gatemen should walk away victors in this one. They lead it 8-2, one away. The bases are empty. So Will Robertson sent a lazy blooper into the glove of Will Roscom. The full count offering coming in here from Cody Carroll. From the windup, the pitch. Got him right down Broadway.
There's the electric slider. That's the kind of pitch you need if you're a closer or if you're going to be a late innings guy. Now there are two gone with Brady Smith coming to the plate, but that's a nasty pitch from Cody Carroll. Not much else you can say about that. It just broke from outside of the zone right on the outside half to the left-handed bat of Thomas Dillard and just tied him up in knots. Great pitch from Cody Carroll.
It froze him big time. Yeah, like you said, JD, really good stuff from Cody Carroll. First pitch, breaking ball misses outside to Brady Smith. Had the game-tying hit in yesterday's ball game, that 2-2 draw in 10 innings over at Lowell Park yesterday between these two ball clubs. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball. My goodness, that thing cut. 1-1.
It's a nasty pitch. It is a nasty, nasty slider.
Smith 1 for 2 today. Peril walks, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th, and had an RBI double in the 1st, and what looked like the Kettleers were going to be back with a vengeance after drawing. And that one at the knees as well, 1-2. Cody Carroll and company trying to go home. They are one strike away from doing so. From the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball just missed.
That's a good pitch.
Wow.
That is a really good pitch from Cody Carroll. I like that a lot.
No kidding. So 2-2, might have to wait another pitch here. The offering. Outside. Corner. Got him. Strikeout number 2. Win number 17 for the Gatemen. 10th one at home. 8-2 over the Cotuit Kettleers. That strikeout brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. And Cody Carroll, in a low-leverage situation, puts together an absolutely awesome inning to back up Jared Horne and Will Proctor, who themselves had great days on the bump. And the offense got cooking early. It was silent later, but it was just enough. Or not even just enough. It was more than enough, I should say. They are winners by 6. And they retain a 3-point lead and a half-game lead over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in the West Division. Cotuit, unfortunately, they do fall to 4 games back, 9 points out of first, but Falmouth and Bourne both losers today as well, so the bottom half of that division still equally log-jammy. It's a technical term for you. But the Gatemen do walk away victors in this one. Pretty complete effort. Things kind of faltered offensively late in the game, but the bullpen was absolutely awesome. How about Jared Horne?
Yeah, my big takeaway from this game is Jared Horne. Absolutely electric out of the bullpen. Just fantastic stuff from the right-hander from Cal. He has bounced back in a gigantic way since really struggling to start the season in his first 2 outings. Since then, he's given up just 1 run in each of his last 4 outings. 7 Ks tonight. That's a season high for him. The breaking ball was nasty today. He was locating the fastball. It was an all-around just a fantastic, really unbelievable day from Jared Horne.
No, he was absolutely electric. Made sure the Kettleers stayed as far away as possible from any sort of comeback attempt. The Gatemen walk away victors here. Like I said, push their record to 17-10-1. Cotuit drops to 12-13-2. Off to Falmouth tomorrow to take on the Commodores at Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field. That'll do it for us here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Like I said, really a complete effort from everyone all around. Not much more you can say about that one as we wrap things up here. Again, I've been Henrique DeMore. To my right, JD Raji. Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producers of today's broadcast were Trevor Russo and Cam Gonsalves. Our sideline reporter is Mary Orders. Thank you to her for all her work today. Thanks to our beat writer Ian Becerra and today's WCTV broadcaster Cam Stewart. Next broadcast of Gatemen Baseball will be tomorrow as the Gatemen travel to Falmouth to take on the Commodores at Gov Fuller Field. The game starts at 6. Our coverage begins at 5:30 with the Gatemen Pregame Show. For J.D. Rachi, again, I'm Henrique DeMore. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. One last time, your final from Spillane. Wareham Gatemen 8, Cotuit Kettleers 2. Thanks for listening and have a great rest of your night.